Very good morning to everyone. Welcome on this beautiful, cold Sunday morning. It's good to see all of you. I am Jay. Welcome to the channel. Look at all of you wonderful people in the chat. JT, good morning. JT is always first. I know that this is his favorite stream that I do during the week. So happy to bring it to you, buddy. Good to see you. P90, how can he be here ending the show? That's so strange, man. That's the internet for you. Good morning, Matt, Ruben. Good to see you. Packers is here, and all you channel members in the Discord. I'm pretty new to Discord in this capacity too, so it's cool to talk to you. And it's like I've already said good morning, then I say good morning to you again. But hey, good morning again. Good to see you, Raj. Look at this guy. This guy hanging out, ready for a rockin' time. The mighty Mutron. What ups? What up, legends? Happy Sunday to one and all. Real is here. Good morning. And this is a great way to start the day. Jason with the 199 super chat. Good morning, Jay. Hi, all in the chat. Thank you so much for the donation, my friend. Very much appreciated. Fall weather. Gotta love it. And the older we get, the more we talk about weather. Am I right over here? Am I right? Yeah, see? Right? You can make fun of me. I guess it's the one thing we all have in common is the weather. Right? Right? Also, break the winter jacket. Yeah, you're pretty close, Matt, to us here. Yeah, absolutely. So it's pretty cold. Yeah, my dogs did not want to go out because they're Jack Russells and they don't have a lot of fur. So they were like, "Come on, Dad, don't make me go out in the friggin' cold, man." I'm like, "Just go out there and do your stuff." He's like, "Bloody hell!" Then they finally went out. Mr. Willie Lowe is on vacation. He is going to parts unknown to have a great old time for the next couple of weeks. So I have a bunch of wonderful guests lined up, including my first fine young man, a fine streamer, and a hell of a gamer. Someone that I just randomly met in my stream not so many weeks ago. Let's bring on P90. Am I saying that right? P90X Bowler.
Dude, another streamer was asking me how should they say your name? Because when you do your streams, you always call yourself Bowler. It's because I went from P90X Bowler to Bowler, and then I went to Bowler the Retro Gamer, and then I'm back to P90X Bowler. So, you know what? P90, P90X Bowler, whatever, all good, man. If you call me P90, I'm good with that.
Oh, okay. P90. Yeah, I never call everybody their full thing.
That's kind of long. Bowler,
Their full
yeah.
handle. So P90 Bull or whatever you like, whatever you need. Well, look at this guy. Look at his smart lips here. Is that a bootleg Star Wars shirt? No, maybe. No, it's not. It's old though, man. I think it's from American Eagle from I want to say 2015.
Yeah, when they had the t-shirts. Yeah.
Yeah. Love your pup sounds just like Captain Jack Sparrow. Well, it was supposed to be like a Liam Gallagher impersonation, but I I appreciate that. Gatto's here. What's up, buddy? Actually. Good to see you, dude. And Fantasia Workshop, welcome on in. He's saying it's too early for this. It's Sunday, right? We were doing streams on at 9 a.m. That would be really early, but we scaled it back to 10. And Batstain is here. Good morning. All right, so we are in our Electronic Gaming Monthly. This is like a quest. I think we're gonna make this like a lifelong quest. This is October 1991 P90. This is where we're at here.
Yep. I find it really interesting that they're calling it, like on the cover, I guess we haven't got to that yet, but they're calling it Super Mario 4. Didn't they know the official title that it was Super Mario World, or are they just calling it Super Mario 4? Any insight on that? Why Jim chose to call it Super Mario 4?
I believe the actual North American title was not released at this point. It was not released
yet. Makes sense. Okay.
They call it A Link to the Past, Zelda 3 as well. Yeah, a lot of the time. So I'm just guessing, I should say, that Nintendo officially didn't release it, and I'm not too sure if the Super Famicom is called Super Mario 4 or not. Does anybody know? Any collectors?
It's actually called Super Mario Brothers 4. I'm pretty sure. Someone else could probably confirm that, but I don't think they go by Super Mario World at all.
Okay, so that's just a North America thing. And I wished, I
Yeah.
said this with Link to the Past. I wish they just called it Zelda 3: A Link to the Past, and same with Mario 4. I wish they kept that going. I think it would have been cool. Raj, what's going on? Yesterday, I watched the story of why you left GameStop. That was very heartbreaking, my friend. But those people didn't deserve you. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it was something that I just needed to get off my chest all those months ago. But I don't. It's fine. I don't hold any grudges. But I think if you search that stuff on YouTube, you'll find a ton of stories like that for retail in
Oh,
general, but GameStop too. Yeah. Thanks for that though, dude. Okay, we're getting to the cover. Let's get to it. Move that over here. So that is Super Mario Brothers 4 winning tips. Did you hear the P there, Ghetto? Tips. Mega maps for Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay, P90, are you a Sonic guy? You can be honest. It's fine.
dude, I think we touched on this before. I'm totally not a Sonic guy. I respect it. It's cool. It looks beautiful. The sound is good. The graphics are good, but I'm just not crazy about. I like taking my time, and the fact that you're running like crazy, and then all of a sudden you hit a ring, you hit an enemy, and you lose all your rings. That aspect there, for some reason, just throws me off. I don't know, man. And then you next hit, you die, right? So that aspect, I'm not. So I'm definitely more of a Mario guy than a Sonic guy. That's just my perspective,
Sure.
though. Yeah.
And just I guess just introduce yourself a little bit. I guess there's maybe a few people who might not know who you are on
Sure.
the channel here, so just introduce
Sure.
yourself.
Yeah, I should have done that probably at the beginning. Name's P90X Bowler. I've been into video games since early nine early 1980s, basically. I've been on YouTube since 2016. Love playing games. Been streaming since 2016, and yeah, that's about it, I guess. I'm a
Wow.
family guy, so I play games at night when I have a chance. So yeah, that's a quick summary.
Yeah, so it's funny you say that because the first time I saw you stream Ninja Gaiden was 9 a.m. Because actually I caught you twice because it was an hour before I started.
Yeah. Well, that's on the weekends, right? On the weekends, sometimes I will do that early morning stream, but I have your
Oh, okay.
typical 8 to 4 job. I actually work for the government, so yeah, usually I'm working from home. But yeah, my
Sure.
son didn't start bowling yet, but now he started bowling on Saturday morning, so it's going to be hard for me to get some streams in the morning. But it's always fun doing it in the morning, though. I'm all awake at night. I'm usually like, ugh. Usually when I stream at night, it's like I've been hanging out with the wife watching some Netflix, and then I'm gonna go stream it. Sometimes I'm like, oh man, it's hard. It is, man. We're getting older, dude.
Dude, a couple shout outs here, but before that, I don't want to lose the train of thought here.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Do you like? Are you like me, where it's like you get up and I'm always an early bird, right? I like to do my work, start the day, get her going, and then around 12 o'clock, I'm like, yeah, man, I might do a second stream tonight, or maybe I'll,
yeah,
I'll play some of this or some of that, and then
dude.
around 5 o'clock after you eat, you're like,
Dude, I totally know. Yeah, and that's it. And then you'll schedule a stream, and then I'm like, oh shit, I gotta commit to this stream, man. Ugh, okay, well,
you're like, yeah,
try.
I gotta do it now.
And of
Uh,
course, and I'm giving myself some challenges. Yeah, I beat Ninja Gaiden without dying. Yeah, that's a smart idea, dude. All right, all good.
Oh, I'm going to ask you about my performance in a second, but a shout
Cool.
out to Ghetto with the $10 donation. Thank you so much, my friend. Molly was waiting for you yesterday. I don't know where you were, but I'm just saying she was waiting for you. She got new swimwear and everything, man.
Ooh.
But I guess maybe you've moved on from Molly. All jokes aside, buddy, thank you so much for the support. BXGO, good to see you again. Good morning, my friend. I love that Atari hat. How you
Nice.
doing today? Oh, look at this guy. HGC is here, and I believe he is in the chat, so he's probably forgiven me for all the hate that I brought down on the Transformers of 1987 on Friday night. So thank you so much for being here, dude. I went to be your bodyguard next Saturday. That's fair. That's fair. You want to join in on the terror? Let's do it. Although I will say next Saturday we're doing Fortnite just because that's when Chad could do it. But normally Saturdays will be GTA. So it's Thursday and Friday next week. All right, here we go. Yeah, so really quickly, do you want to critique my Ninja Gaiden performance?
Well, critique. That's if you want me to. But I thought you did well, man. I mean, You got this. I think you got the 6-2 twice, but I've noticed it was interesting. You got the 6-2, and then you loop, and I think I had to go to the washroom or something. And I came back. I'm like, wait, he's at 1-1. What did I miss something? But then I figured that you just kind of resetted the game. But 6-2 is not an easy level, like I said before, right? I honestly think it's one of the toughest levels, like in NES history, maybe in any video game, because it's so frustrating. There's no, you get knocked back, and it's dude, it took me years of well, not years, but it took me like hours of practice to actually got it down, right? So yeah, I think you did well, man. 6-2 is pretty good. Did you ever get past 6-2 like on your own? I'm just curious.
Oh, I've got to Jacques before, but I
Oh,
never
you
beat
have
him.
got to. Oh,
Yeah, and
wow. Okay.
this is way back.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like as you know, like near the end, like around the 3.5 hour mark, I was like mush. So that one time I just reset the game, just you just want to
Yeah.
like, okay, let's start again, and you just want to go through it again. But yeah, it's those flying ninjas, I would say,
Yeah. That's
and just not timing the slash right. But we were talking
yeah.
about a little bit of input delay that might be there. And like I was saying, I'm glad you brought that up because I never want to blame the game or the controller. I don't. But I even felt it when I was playing the Turbo Graphics the other day.
Yeah.
Like it was just there's just a little bit off. But then if I go to another monitor and play it through OBS, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's weird.
No,
So
totally, dude. And it's funny you say that. I was actually playing Punch Out, and I think Punch Out is the worst game for that. I think I got to Mr. Sandman, and even though I knew it was coming up, I was hitting left to dodge, and I was always getting hit, and I was like getting frustrated. I'm like, what the heck? And then I actually mentioned in our conversation, I'm like, yeah, there's definitely some lag going on. I'm sure if I played this on original hardware, that was an issue because I remember as a kid not having any issues. Maybe you're younger, you have better reflexes, right? But yeah, I think the lag factor is definitely an issue when you're streaming, and also just to your point about when you're playing Ninja Gaiden, it's a whole different story, man. When you're streaming the game and you're talking to your audience, your concentration is not up there. So it's obviously always more challenging playing a difficult game. I'm sure you know all about that, right?
yeah, yeah. But it was fun. So hopefully
Yeah,
we'll see
that was cool.
Ninja Gaiden once more.
Nice.
What's up, Brian? How you doing? Was Final Fantasy 2 not a launch title? Not to my knowledge, no. It was pretty well, yeah, it was 91 in North America, but I don't think it was a launch title, no.
I'm not sure. I think it came out in November. I remember clearly what my dad asking my parents to go to Microplay and pick it up, and it was $89. My parents were like, "That game's $89." I'm like, "Yeah, but
Yeah, because
I want it."
it was probably 8 mega power.
Exactly. Such a good
Uh,
game.
Packer says Jay's S tier. Love all the headmasters. Were legendary. Next slide, Packers. Let's go. I went back through the images on the 87 headmasters again. The colors are very muted compared to the earlier bots. HGC, I think we kind of mentioned that real quick here before we get started. I wonder if it was because it was getting closer to the 90s. Even the Joes of that era started to change in the colors. I don't know. Some good, some bad, but I mean that's what's fun about versus, right? We all have our opinions. Okay, let's crack this issue open. So here we are, October. Anyone who wants to read along, there's a link in the description of the video. A big shout out to Retro Mags, where we get these each and every week. They have great PDF files, and they are archiving history here. So here we go. Castlevania 2. I love that. Love that old Castlevania box art. And please feel free, P90, any image or anything you see,
Yeah,
feel free. If you want to talk about it, please go right ahead.
for sure. Well, I mean, just looking at this is it's a nice ad, right? I mean, there's a lot of text, but I think back in the day I would have taken some time to read this because this is a series that I'm interested in, right? So yeah, very nice ad. And like I told you before, Nintendo Power had no ads, so this is all new to me. So it's very cool checking it out from this perspective.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I think
Yeah,
it's so neat that you only read for the most part one magazine. That's really cool.
yeah,
Okay, here's everything we can look forward to in this issue, but we're gonna skip because we're gonna go through the whole issue. Shout out, here you go, Willie Lowe. Here's your Robin Hood,
first hot off.
the first hot soft. Yeah. Our editor in chief now is Mr. Ed Semrad. So I will read his editorial here titled Big, Bigger, Biggest.
So she said.
As you probably have already noticed, this issue of EGM is pretty large. 204 pages. It's our largest issue yet. Well, congrats. Good job, boys. You deserve it. You deserve it. We've come a long way since this time last year when we were at 84 pages,
Wow.
but we're not one to look back for too long. Having hit 200, we now will shoot for 250. This is almost like their sub goal. This is like sub goals back in the day, I think.
Dude, that's huge, man. Holy crap.
Right? Right?
Wow.
Bill, how you doing? Welcome on in. Having hit 200 now, we will shoot for 250 and even more by the end of the year. So this is significant to publications back then because the beefing up of the issue more times than not would equal more ad revenue that they're getting. So more companies are
Right.
advertising in their book, which is great for them. So they're really starting to pull ahead of the competition. HEC, what's a Sonic? I don't know what that is. Of course, we couldn't do it without the support and confidence of the advertisers and readers. We've grown fast because we've been able to evolve quickly to meet the needs of the game industry. Contract publishing is but one example of what the industry and the readers wanted. Also, with lead times measured in weeks rather than 3 to 4 months, you get to read about items which can still be called news. I mean, think about that now. Something goes, like the big news is Concord right now. Everything going on with Concord on
Right.
PS5. We got that news within like minutes of it happening, and back then it was months. They would research the article or they would find the news, and then 3 months later, that would be news to us. I mean, think about that, dude. I almost miss that. Do you miss that?
I kind of miss that. I mean, yes, now of course, something happens, right away, right? You go on the internet, a friend tweets you about it. Hey, man, did you hear about this? But back then, it was like you had to find out either from a friend who found out from a magazine or you read it in a magazine. But apart from that, I don't think there was any other ways. And yeah, I definitely kind of miss that. It was a special time, and
Yeah.
I'm really happy. And me and you could say that, dude, because we're in that same age group. But
Mm.
I think it's unfortunately some people will never be able to understand it, like my son, right? I go through a lot of my stories, and he actually said, "Dad, I would have loved to go through that, to be part of that." Yeah, so that was definitely a special time back then, especially in this era, right? I always, to me, late '80s, early '90s, was some of my best gaming memories, man.
And I will agree with Real here. I was just gonna say, yeah, everything is noisy. I was just thinking, having the old iPhone right here, I was thinking, it's just there's constant information being fed to you. Now you can turn the phone off, which nobody does. You can put the phone in the other room, which few people do. You can do that,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's not the same. And one thing I'll cite, I talk about a lot, is Disney Plus. The one good thing I like about the Disney Plus shows is that they stagger them every week. Obviously,
Okay.
that's to stretch out subscriptions. I understand it business wise, but I like that they do that because it brings it back to old school TV,
Right.
right? Where you can't just like remember. I don't know if you watched the Fallout show,
I haven't.
but when the Fallout show dropped, my buddy like almost to the minute, 8 hours later. So what did you think? I'm like, what are you talking about? You went through all 8 episodes. So I
Yeah.
kind of miss that times when we just had to wait a little
Yeah, just
bit.
had to wait, man. That's yeah.
Yeah, and you got a
Example.
breather. Yeah.
Yeah, like GamePro, man. I couldn't wait, but like right? I used to love GamePro. So every Saturday morning I was at bowling, and then I'd tape it, and I'd get home and I'd watch it. And then you had to watch episode by episode. You couldn't obviously watch a future episode. It was only coming out on a weekly basis. So yeah, definitely missed that.
Packer says I miss the days when everyone didn't have to know everything all the time. Or
Uh,
Packers, if somebody called you, right, and you weren't home, you weren't home. That's it. You know what I mean? Like this is like even before answering machines and stuff. It's like, well, it wasn't the end of the world. It's like, okay, well, I guess I'll catch him when he gets home, right? But I mean, it's easy to look at everything through rose tinted glasses or whatever that saying is, and I don't know. There's some things I'd want to go back.
yeah.
to the early 90s, and some things I don't. So
Yeah, but just one last thing about that. Don't you think we were less stressed back then? I remember, man,
yeah.
back then things moved slower. Everyone was less stressed. Now these days, man, holy crap. Everyone drives fast, everyone's distracted. It's just a whole different world, right?
And
Yeah.
if you don't get something instantly, I'm just talking as a whole,
Hmm.
as humans, right? If we don't get something instantly, it's like we lose patience. And if the internet goes down for two
It's
seconds,
the
I
end of
know
the
me,
world,
I'm
man.
like, oh, what am I paying for this for? Like, it's just like, like,
Yeah.
relax. But
Yeah.
game reviews are honest, and sometimes, where am I lost it. uh Contact publishing is but one example of the industry, also with lead times 3 or 4 months. Game reviews are honest and sometimes downright brutal. Fortunately, companies now realize that with cart rentals so popular, players will more often or not rent games before they buy them. And whether we give the game a 3 or the kids rent it and say that it's bad, all the smiling faces in the world won't make it better. And I like that, because EGM in the early issues, they got a lot of flack from publishers and from fans of games that, oh, you don't, you give Legendary Axe a bad score, and all of a sudden they don't like TurboGrafx, right?
Right.
So
Did you want me to grab
uh
the rest of this, Jay, or are you reading the rest of this?
yeah, no, I'll take on this, buddy. I got this.
Okay.
You believe me, you'll have your hands full with Quarterman.
All good.
He's
All
all
good.
over the place.
Yeah, for sure.
We're on a roll. More pages means we can cover more games for more systems and more pictures and more information. Considering all the news, considering all the new games coming out in the holidays, the extra 100 pages can't cover everything sufficiently. Look for expanded coverage in our arcade section, new supplements and inserts, more fact files, and of course, more multiple person game reviews. Speaking of supplements, you will have to check out the huge 96-page Sega Force supplement in this issue. Anybody who knows the Sega system will find virtually every licensed product available, and then some. Don't forget to check out the Sonic comic. There you go, HGC. If you don't own a Genesis, Game Gear, or Master System 2, which is the second model of the Master System,
Okay,
then,
cool.
then reading through this supplement might help you change your mind. Of special note is the fact that this is the first authorized Sega magazine outside their own publication. We appreciate the trust that they have in us, and to fairly distribute their products as usual. It's here first, and then only in EGM. There you go.
Almost sounds like they were a big sponsor in this issue.
Yeah. BX says, how did our parents do it? Dude, I mean, if your parents were like mine, they were super stressed all the time. No disrespect to my parents, but it's the truth. Most of my friends' parents were like that, and they were just stressed, right? Okay, let's get to our letters to the editors. We're going to get our special guest, P90, to pick out one of these lovely letters. And so you're going to read the letter, and then you're going to read the response from Ed, who's the new editor in chief.
We'll do that. Well, as a Nintendo fat boy, I'm gonna start with the this SNES. I'll do that one first.
Sure.
SNES equals Super Fammy. I've been hearing a lot about the Super Famicom and the Super NES, but one thing that nobody has talked about is the compatibility between the systems. From the specs, are the systems they seem from the specs the systems seem identical? Are they? That's from Billy Sawburn from Augusta, Georgia. And then we have Keith Peters writing in, with the Super NES about to come out, one item you haven't addressed is cartridge compatibility. Since the Famicom carts work fine in the NES with the adapter board, will the same hold true for the Super Famicom games in the Super Nintendo? So then the editor says the Super NES store date has been pushed back to September 23rd. Oh, I wonder what it was before. So editor says, or Ed says, although the production version of the Super Nintendo is not in the stores yet, we have heard from our sources inside Nintendo that the Super NES Super Famicom compatibility will be similar to the Genesis Mega Drive. That is, the Super Famicom carts will have the same.
Where's that?
Hold on.
Up top, the
Yeah, I'm
same
just trying. I'm just. It's a touch screen, so I was trying to scroll my fingers.
pin
Pin
configuration.
configuration,
Yeah.
yeah, as the Super NES carts. The cartridge port on the Super NES will be a slightly different shape, but with a little shaving around the port of the Super Famicom carts will fit and work. Well, we find this difficult to believe because of the much publicized problem Sega's having with the unauthorized Japanese carts being sold in the US. The big N doesn't seem to be concerned, or does it? Or so it seems. We'll give you a definitive yes or no next month. I actually have no idea if it's even compatible.
They're
Do you
not.
know, Jay? Oh, they're
No, they're
not. Okay.
no. The cartridges are completely separate shapes. I think
Okay.
it's as simple as breaking off tabs, like
Oh
with the
boy, I don't want
Genesis and the Mega
to. Okay,
Drive. Yeah, you can break off the tabs and then do that. But I don't know anybody who did that because
man.
you
Why
know
would you want to do that?
you're a kid, and then what if you screw it up? It's not like
Yeah.
those tutorial videos you could watch, right? So
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, let's get to some comments here. F Zero is the poll champion. I will take your word for it. This morning I woke up and this guy here, this monitor, was green and red and fizzling. It's officially dead, so I can't see the poll. So I'll trust you guys on this one. I have to grab a new monitor soon. Packer says, I recall when going to university, when email became the new thing, students would stand in lineups for hours to try it out. Really? Oh my God. I always hated email. I always hated it. Just seemed, I don't know, it wasn't my thing. Besides being always connected due to smartphones, we've been given more to worry about than back in the day.
100%.
Yeah. And social media is both a blessing and a curse. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you guys, I mean, you know, it's a safe space here, okay? So you don't have to answer. I'll answer first. How many times have you posted a picture on Facebook, Twitter, whatever, and you get like whatever 30 likes? Ah, sweet. You check out who liked your photo. That's great. You post another similar picture the next day and you get 3 likes. And then you get that sinking feeling. At least I used to. That's like, oh my God, what with the people don't like me anymore? What's going on? You know, it's crazy. You've got to learn to. I've trained myself to step away from it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, social media is good for instance for streamers, for
Mhm.
YouTubers. I think it's a necessity. Um, I don't know though. I want to say maybe if I didn't have social media, or if I wasn't doing YouTube, I don't know if I would have social media that much, to be honest. I
Yeah.
don't know.
For me, Facebook is mostly for my family, to be honest. I mean, that's what I use it for, keep in contact with them. But yeah, yeah, I see people posting pictures every day, and then I don't know, man, not my thing. I'll post a picture once in a while, but that's it.
Time to hit Facebook Marketplace. No, I got to go to Best Buy. Maybe even Walmart because I need it for work tomorrow. So yeah, I even looked on Amazon. I'm like, I don't think I want to blind buy a monitor on Amazon. So yeah, I'm gonna have to head to. I'll probably go to Walmart. Okay, not void in Canada. That's our first letter here. What? 75 mags a month run through my fingers at the computer and games company I work for. And all of them, your publication, EGM Mega Play, and Computer Game Review tend to sell out fast. Enclosed is a video game column which is run in our newspaper, and my friend who writes it has come up with a thorny issue as to contests regularly as contests regularly held by many magazines in which Canadians are excluded from entering. Now I understand that the laws in the US and Canada are different, but I have been entering and winning contests for over 20 years. It's a little odd that I cannot enter any video game magazine contests. Bliss Oblopsky, Thunder Bay. Shout out. Thunder Bay, I want to say it's 9 hours from here, maybe 10. Thunder Bay,
Wow.
Ontario. Douglas, shout out. Okay, so Ed says, thanks for sending us a copy of the Video Cowboys column. As he pointed out, there is no mention of any exclusion for Canadians in our contests. And that is correct. We have never placed any restrictions in our contests, and they are open to anybody and everybody. While there have not been many winners from Canada, the vast majorities of the contest entries do come from the US. Unlike other magazines whose contests are all based on a random drawing, we do have our monthly high score contest, which is based on skill, not the luck of a random drawing. So, Mr. Video Cowboy, while we can't give Canadians preferential treatment, we do have this contest which evens up the odds. All your readers have to do is send in their best score on an official entry with a screen photo for proof. Also, if they send in a trick, we'll publish it. Yeah, okay. So I don't know. That's weird. It's just that's an early you know how people will just read the headline on like a YouTube video and they'll comment on the video before they even watch the video.
Yeah.
That's what this reminds me of. So it's like they didn't even take time to really check if Canada is eligible. They kind of just went off the handle. Anyways, did you want to do the more mega CD or do you
I'll
want to
do that one, dude, for sure. More mega CD. Awesome, dudes. I couldn't believe my eyes. Your mega city coverage in your September issue was truly amazing. Like everybody else, just announced that the CD-ROM was coming and showed the same picture. You had photos of the system in operation, detailed all the specs, and then followed it up with a list of games and real photos. How do you do it? Do you have a source inside Sega? This comes from Matt Avalos from Cincinnati, Ohio. And we have Gerald Whitsock. Well, I can't really say that. From California, he writes in, I must compliment you on a great job of reporting. Your mega city coverage in August and September was and still is unequaled. I've read all the stories in other mags and they all sound the same. What's this about a Genesis mega city selling at $750? Holy crap. That was a lot of money back then. Ed writes, thanks for the compliments, guys. We always try to go with try to go the extra yard and get information that you want. The reason nobody else ran the specs is because the press release that Sega handed out at CES only talked in generalities. The official Word debut was in Tokyo, and that is where the real information was. As we stated before, and this is a good example, anybody could write about something when they are spoon-fed by the companies, but we don't accept this any more than you do. You can always count on us to get you the real story. JVC plans to bring out a combo until next year.
What happened? I closed my thing. I closed the article. Sorry, my bad. I don't know why that happened. That's weird. Yeah, I completely closed it. Give me 1 sec here. Jeepers creepers, buddy. What are we doing here? So what would $700 be right now in like the year 2024? Does anybody know?
Minimum 1,000 if I had to guess. I'm not sure what the inflation is.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, you got to remember that like CDs, like just including even just CDs that you listen to were not the norm. If you had a CD player in like 91, man, you were my girlfriend's parents in 91 had a CD player. And I remember I bought CDs just so I could go and, when I was at her place, I could listen to them. I didn't even have a CD player. So that seems reasonable. Any new disc technology is always crazy expensive, right?
Yeah, it was huge. I don't know if you were part of Columbia House. Do you remember that? Did you have that in Toronto?
Yeah, I was 3 times.
Yeah, that was fun. That was actually interesting. You could get like free CDs if you subscribe. Or I'm not even sure how it worked, but that was cool. I got a lot of my CDs, and that's how. I think we talked about this once before. I'm a huge Rush fan, so I remember getting all their catalog on there, and then became instantly.
Because it works because you get whatever 10 for a penny, and then you have to buy
some more. I think, right? You have to commit.
Yeah, but they're all like $26 or $27 each.
Oh yeah. I think I remember asking my parents about it, and then they're like, "Wait, now you have to buy some. I'm not sure if I forgot to give them that detail, but then I think I was on my own. I had a job back then, and I think I had to buy the CDs on my own. It was funny.
Ghetto did some number crunching, $1,740 for the
Really?
Sega CD now, if it were to come out. Wow. That's
Wow,
crazy.
man. Can you imagine?
Bill said I rock tapes till 2000. Buddy, I still got all my tapes. They're the best. I kept buying them because my first car did not have a CD player, right? So I would buy whatever Pearl Jam record on CD, and then I would buy the tape for the car, right?
I had that too, Jay. I think I had that tape to CD converter. I don't know if you remember that. You put like a tape in, and then it would actually play CDs. But the thing is
Yeah.
you hit a bump, it would skip. So that would drive me nuts. I didn't
My
have the
buddy,
anti-skip on my CD player.
my buddy had that in his little Toyota Sprint or whatever it was. He had like a CD Walkman on the center console. Every bump he hit, it would
Oh
skip.
man,
So like
brutal.
you'd have like Metallica cranked really loud and get to the chorus, then you hit a bump, and then you like
Lose all the momentum, right?
happy turbo players. Don't count the turbo graphics out yet, folks. It is still 1991. There's still some life in the old girl yet. You guys are unbelievable. I just got my September issue and had to tell you how much I liked your turbo supplement. I have been thinking about getting the CD-ROM, but there just weren't enough discs out there to make it worth my while. After seeing photos of what was coming out in the year future, I went out and bought the CD-ROM plus Ease. I call it Wise. Sherlock Holmes and Murder Club. Thanks again for supporting this great system from Nathan Shapiro from Indiana, Franklin, Indiana. Unbelievable. 16 pages on my favorite system. Nobody has been really covering turbo, including you, that is, until now. The insert alone is worth the price of the mag. From Gregory from LA. There you go. Good morning, Crow. Good to see you. What is this? The letters, calls, and faxes. Oh wow, there's their phone number.
That's
or their
funny.
fax number.
Wow.
Are just starting to come in with opinions on our September issue. Besides comments about the huge size of the mag, we are hearing great things from you about our inserts. Expect to see a lot more from our contract publishing division as more and more companies are signing up to run inserts, in only one mag, Electronic Gaming Monthly. There you go. Vickman. Hola, buddy. How you doing? Been a while. Hope you're good. Still rocking the tapes and vinyls. Yeah. You know what's funny? Just for a goof, P90 I put in the other day because PS4 is downstairs in our main room. It's like our main entertainment thing. And I put in a CD just to see if it would work, but it didn't read it.
It didn't work. You didn't want to read it. Oh wow.
I just don't think it. I don't know. Does it run CDs? I don't think it runs CDs, but I was just trying to see if it would work. HEC says Sherlock Holmes and the Murder Club release, and the Murder Club released some bangers in the late 80s. Yeah, Sherlock Holmes HEC was the reason I wanted the CD-ROM back in the day. I never got the Turbo CD-ROM or the Genesis back in the day, so it was something I had to purchase later. Well, except the Turbo CD, I still don't have that bad boy, but it's crazy expensive. So we got Game Gear news, and I think that's it. You want to do the last more Game Gear?
Sure, man. Hold on. More Game Gear. Okay. I just bought Sega's Game Gear because it is a good compromise between price and performance. The cards are decent, but I wish there was a larger selection. Are there more games coming out soon? This is from Mark Winston from Corona, I'm going to guess California.
Yeah.
Ed writes, hang in there, Mark. The Game Gear is gaining in popularity, and Sega is doing everything possible to crank out new sauce as fast as possible. All about the hot sauce, baby. Check out our Game Gear selection section in this month's Sega supplement for a complete listing of new games. Oh, a Ninja Gaiden.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Look at that.
So, yeah, as we talked about before, Jay, I mean, obviously the Sega Game Gear was color, was nice. I think it took 6 batteries, but I think it's all about the sauce, man. I think Game Boy, even though it had that small
Yep.
greenish screen. I think just because of the games, I think it just took off. And I mean, I'm just going from what I remember. I don't think the Game Gear did that well against the Game Boy. You're the expert though. I
No.
mean, you were the Sega guy, so you probably have more on that than me. So
No, Sega didn't do the Game Gear didn't hold a candle
yeah,
to the Game Boy in terms of just overall sales. I mean, it was around for a while. It was around a lot longer than the Atari Lynx was. So, but yeah, again, you don't play systems, you
you
play
play games.
games, right?
Absolutely.
So if the games aren't great, I don't care if the video game system makes your lunch. Doesn't matter, man. It's all about the games. But Ninja Gaiden, that's crazy. What'd you think of Ninja Gaiden for Turbo? Or for PC Engine, my bad.
Well, it's funny. I actually emulated the other day because like I had trouble hearing the music. But first of all, because I want to try it for myself, right? So from seeing it on your screen, I thought it looked okay, right? But after playing it, I could definitely confirm the controls were not tight. The music was terrible, and I don't even know if I want to play it more, to be honest. So I was not really impressed. I think the NES version was just, well, you know my opinion on it. I think it was just perfect. And
Yeah.
if it's not broken, leave it. Don't fix it.
There were some companies that were really great at translating games back in the day, and Sega was one of them. So Sega
Okay.
ported over a ton of Capcom games for Genesis that are so damn good. But yeah, that was what Working Designs ported that over. It wasn't Tecmo had nothing to do with it, and you can tell when you play it. It just feels wrong,
Yeah.
right?
And when
It's
you
like
talk about,
you know the roll I'm talking about with your thumb, right? You do the
oh
jump
yeah,
slash, right? You can't do it.
no, you
It's
can't
like
even do it. No, for sure.
yeah.
I think when you talk about Capcom, are you talking about like Mega Man? They did. I know Genesis remade that. That was not bad on the Genesis. The 1, 2, 3 collection. I'm not sure if you've played that.
Yeah, no, they brought out Ghouls and Ghosts, Forgotten Worlds, and then Strider. Those were all ports of Capcom games that Sega did, and it was they were really good.
Cool.
Happy second birthday to the Genesis. Happy birthday, Genesis. Look at that. That's my buddy Thor right there. No joking around. It's Thor Ackerlund, who won Nintendo World Championships, who also appears in Nintendo Quest. Look at him there. He's just a kid. Good old Thor. It's friggin' awesome to see that, man.
That's
Wow.
cool.
So
Micro
cool. I'm
Machines.
going to send him this picture. I'm going to send him this after. That's awesome, man. I wasn't expecting that. So cool. But he's looks like he's promoting Comerica stuff. So there you go. Good to see you, buddy.
I actually had a few of those Micro Machines. Those are super cool, man. Super small cars.
Is Randy's mom featured in this issue? Christoph, I waved to you. Good to see you, buddy, by the way. J Mac is here. J Mac, you picked up some Genesis. What'd you get? Genesis Game Genie with Sonic and Knuckles. So you're creating the Tower of Power. You know what I'm talking about. HEC says, I got lucky. Bunch of friends that lived around me all would have different systems. One dude had a turbo, one dude had a PC, another had Genesis and
Oh,
Master
that's
System.
cool.
Yeah, because that was it, right? You got, for the most part, one system and you committed to it, right? So that's cool that everyone could kind of play and try other consoles. That's all. I like that. Randy's mom. All right. So we are here at the reviews. Now, P90, since you are the guest, you can choose, of course, besides Steve, whoever you'd like to read. If you would like to read Ed for Will, or you can do Martin. I think you did Martin last time.
I think I'll do
Uh,
Ed this time.
you want to do Ed for sure.
I'll
Ed,
be
we call him Ed the Hater. Ed's
Ed
usually
the Eater.
grumpy.
Okay, that's good to know.
Ed the Hater. So before we do that, we have to check up and catch up, I should say, on what the editors have been doing the last month. So Steve, our head editor type guy, is off to Japan to collect the hot.
The hardest
Yeah.
sauce. Oh man.
Yes. Our head editor type guy is off to Japan to collect the hottest softs for all the systems while taking in the sights and sounds of the good old Tokyo game show, I guess. I don't know. Sushi anybody. Oh, I love it.
That's awesome.
I love
And
it.
then Ed says, "It's off to Tokyo again to check out the latest in new 32-bit technology. Lots of top secret things going on, and Ed's talking a lot of super fast film to sneak a few pictures. Hmm.
Ed talking about himself like George in the third person. Ed's getting
Yeah,
upset. What a badass name to grow up with. Hello, ladies. My name is Thunder, the god of thunder. I
kiss.
mean, dude, yeah, it's like, who's gonna mess with the guy named Thor? Think about it. Plus, he won like Nintendo World Championships. That's crazy.
That's
Like,
cool.
you would have been like the king of everything back then. We've evolved from hot softs to the hottest softs. Haktua softs, am I right? Am I right there, Matt? We're going to start with our first game, Snow Brothers by Capcom for the NES. Extremely expensive and rare game now. But Snow Brothers is in the vein of Bubble Bobble. So anyone who's played Taito's Bubble Bobble will kind of know what they're getting into. But this was an arcade game that was at the Variety Store, oddly enough, where I got my EGMs during high school. So that's really cool. Let's get into this. So Steve gives it a 6. Come on, Steve, 6. No one gives Capcom a 6, but we'll read anyway. Snow Brothers reminds me a lot of similar maze action games like Bubble Bobble that take the simple theme and elevate it with a seemingly endless variety of scoring and point initiatives. The game still suffers from a fair level of repetition, but it's a good diversion for a while. 6.
I've only played the arcade version. I've never played the NES version, but I was a big Bubble Bobble fan. But I should probably give this game a go. It looks kind of cool. So Ed gives it a 7. The arcade game was a blast. Once in a while, a no-brainer. I like no-brainer games, and this is one which I could sit down and play through dozens of levels just to relax. Not a lot of concentration needed. The execution of the game is very good and is a blast to play. Great bosses.
Yeah, and I can't remember. Did Bubble Bobble have bosses? Does anybody know?
I think maybe at the very end, because there was 100 stages. I think at the very end, yeah, that big guy. But I'm going from memory here. So I think you probably had one boss in Bubble Bubble.
Hmm. HEC says Randy's mom got a shout out last night on a 3POA live chat. What? What? I laughed so hard. Bartlett's lore is seeping out into the world. It's our lore, my friend. It's our community. Are you kidding me? Like, how? How did that come up from that random Starcade episode? That's amazing. Randy's mom, shout out.
She's famous.
That's amazing. So Snow Brothers is a great game. I think it deserves higher than a 6 and 7, but that's okay. Frankenstein by Bandai.
Hmm.
I'm not familiar with this one
Me
whatsoever.
neither. Me neither.
But Steve gives it a 6. Frankenstein is one of those games that is just almost there. What? I like some of the basic setups that the game delivers. It comes off as being a little too rough around the edges. The graphics are cool, but the lack of real diversity in gameplay is what hampers Frank the most. He's not Frankenstein. He's really Frankenstein's monster. I'm not going to get into all that, though. Okay.
All right.
6.
Ed also gives it a 6. Frankenstein is a game that is good on last year's standards. With a little more attention to details and some final tweaking, it could have been a hit. As it is, it's only a bit better than average and just doesn't stand apart from the rest of average games out there. Yeah, never. I don't remember seeing this one back in the day. Maybe I kind of missed it. I guess.
Frankenstein, yeah. I'm trying to remember
Mhm.
the box art. It's been a while.
This is
HEC, that's legendary, man. That's so Ryan mentioned it. Man, that's crazy. Well, good for Randy's mom. Good for Randy's mom. She is a pro gamer. Oh, here you go. Unlicensed Micro Machines by Camerica, which was a gold card. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was a gold card similar to Zelda.
hmm.
This got 8s from our guys. Look at this.
I think it kind of plays like RC Pro Am, if I remember, Jay, this game.
I'm sorry.
I think it kind of plays like RC Pro Am, this game.
Yeah, it's a top down. Did you
Yeah.
see the turbo stream when I was playing that game Moto Rotor?
Dude, is that the one where the controls were atrocious and you were going the
Yeah.
wrong way and everyone was like, dude, what are you doing? Are you drunk? Yeah.
Yeah, like it's kind of like that, a top down view
Oh,
like
okay.
that. That game was rough.
Yeah.
You said J Mac, you said something about it on 3POA. I'm just curious because like that was like a random stream from a few weeks ago. So I think that's really cool. That's awesome. So anyway, Steve gives it an 8. Micro Machines doesn't exactly boast the best in graphics or animations. It also doesn't have the best sound support I've ever heard in an NES game. What the card does have is exciting play mechanics and enough style and interaction that's necessarily to what?
Necessary.
And enough style and interaction that's necessary to be a winner. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
My bad. My bad. 8. That's pretty good, man, for this game. This is better than Snow Brothers, according to Steve. Come on now.
Interesting. It also gives it an 8. Even though it looks like a simple game, it couldn't be farther from the truth. This is a spectacular, challenging, and exciting game taking place on some very unusual type of terrains like a breakfast table and a garage floor. Definitely one to look for as it looks a lot of fun. I might have to check it out. I'm curious now.
Who's the guy who did Blur's voice? John Machida, I think, is that his name? Blur from Transformers. He's also the Micro Machines announcer guy. The guy talks really fast. Matt probably knows. Shout out to John if that's his name. If not, whatever. Bo Jackson baseball. Oh, we talk about Bo a lot, don't we, Packers? Who remembers Bo Jackson? The man was so talented. He was playing for the LA Raiders, and I believe he's playing for the LA Dodgers as well.
Yeah,
That,
two pro sports. Yeah.
dude, that's
Wow.
pretty crazy. That's
That
pretty
is
crazy.
nuts.
Not many people have done that. Shout out to Jordan.
I can't even think of an. Oh, Jordan. Well, Jordan. Wait, Jordan did that. He played basketball, and what else did he play?
Jordan was on, I believe, the Cubs.
Really? Oh, I did not even know that. Huh.
Yeah. Oh, we got a new picture from this. Look at this hot soft. Look at this hot soft as Atari vest. What a hipster. Love you, buddy. Didn't Aunt Connie date the Micro Machines guy? You have to ask Packers about that. I don't know. Maybe. Oh, there you go. BX says Raiders and Chicago White Sox. Thank you.
There we go.
Cool. There you go. Okay. John Machida. Oh, I remembered. That is correct. No, Jordan played baseball, didn't he? Real? I thought Jordan played baseball. Anyway, it's an incredible accomplishment, not to mention that you're busy all year. Because what's baseball, like 160 games? Something like that. Football,
yeah,
16 or whatever. It's pretty cool. So 4. This is made by Data East, who for me have always been hit or miss. I don't know about you, P90, if you have any favorite Data East games from back in the day.
I can't think of a lot of them, to be honest. Maybe if I'd see a list, I'd remember. But I think the very first game I bought from NES was actually Karate Champ. Interesting story on that one.
Oh yeah,
and that was Data East, and because I played it at the arcade with the dual sticks, right? I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Then I got it on the NES, and I was like, "This is ass, man. This does not play well at all." So I was definitely disappointed.
Karate Champ. Yeah. Bad Dudes was one I remember.
Oh my god, that one wasn't that good. It was like a Kung Fu ripoff, but yeah.
It was terrible. And then Bloody Wolf on Turbo. I remember that too. Okay, so Steve gives it a 4. This game just doesn't have the heart and soul necessary to stand apart from many other similar titles now available. On its own, Bo knows how to dish up average graphics and limited gameplay instead of taking us in new directions. You get the same old rehash. What? Bo didn't make the game, Steve. Like, holy hell.
Exactly. Yeah.
Jesus. It's like if Joe Montana football, if it got bad reviews, which it didn't, if it did, they're like, oh, Joe, your game sucks. It's like he didn't make it. He's the face of the game.
And that's I got an interesting question. How do you think that worked back in the day? Like, did they just say, "Hey, Bo, here, sign on this," and did he even see the final product? Maybe he did, and he probably knew
Doesn't
nothing
matter.
about video games, right? So it's kind of
It doesn't matter if Data East went to Bo, well, they would have went to Bo's management and said, "I don't
mm,
know numbers. Okay, I'm just
yeah,
throwing
yeah,
it
yeah.
out there. We're gonna give you $100,000 to put your name on this game." Yep, he doesn't care what it's.
Sign here, and yeah, the rest. Who cares Who cares if it's a shitty game? I don't think it's going to affect him as
Yeah,
an athlete or even his name hold, right? Yeah,
you get your endorsement, you make your
that's
money,
right.
and that's the way it goes. What's up, Jacques? Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, Jacques. So Ed gives it a 5. It is getting harder and harder to make significant improvements to the existing baseball games. While Japan has to have new games every year in the US, it's different. This is a good game in its own right, but virtually every player already has a baseball game in their library. Yeah, I mean, if I had to guess, the NES must have had what 20 baseball games at the end. This is just a guess here. I mean, it must have had a ton of games, right?
Yeah, did you ever play Baseball Stars by SNK?
I have not, but I've heard it was good. I don't. You're gonna
Best
laugh,
one.
man. The only one I had was the original NES baseball from Nintendo, and that one was not that good. But that's the one
That
I
one's
own. That's
rough.
the black box one. But me and my dad played that all the time, and like you said before, I had a good nostalgic for that
Sure.
game, right? Just because it wasn't great, but that's the one that I know. So no, I haven't played that one. Was it good?
Baseball Stars is
Yeah.
amazing. I would say it's
Mm.
the best game on the system. Base Wars by Konami is great. Baseball Simulator 1000 is another like fantastic, like crazy, like your bat would light on fire and you would shoot like rockets and stuff. Like it was really cool.
Yeah.
Tecmo Bad News Baseball was great. Yeah, there's a lot of good baseball games.
Yeah. The 1000 one that you just mentioned, I think that one's on NES Online, so I should probably check it out.
Do it for sure. Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely. Spy Hunter. We all remember Spy Hunter from the arcade. Never was my thing, but I think TJ. I think this is one of TJ's favorites. So it's by Sunsoft, who we praise. Sunsoft is a great company. Blaster Master, Batman, amongst other things. 7 from Steve. Spy Hunter is a classic arcade game, and the NES sequel is just as cool. The gameplay is great, and there are a ton of good power ups. Graphics are good, if a little bit washed out. Good solid action that would be even cooler with the possibilities offered on the Super Nintendo. There you go. That's 7's pretty good.
Yeah, I remember myself. I remember playing this one a lot at my local confectionery store. The original one. It was cool because you had that like that wheel,
Nice.
and then you had the pedal, and it was cool. You could drive your car, drive the boat. Fun game. So Ed gives it an 8. Sunsoft is on a roll. They are picking and producing great games for all the systems. Super Spy Hunter fits the mold and is solid excitement. Great variety of screens, good weapons, and above average graphics, exceptional control, and just a great game overall. Yeah, Sunsoft was a really good company back in the day, like Batman, Blaster Master. They produced a lot of good titles.
Speaking of endorsements, I think we talked about this before, but you remember Spy Hunter on PS2 with The Rock on the cover? That's just an example of someone grabbing a celebrity to just try and sell. I think your franchise is in trouble when you try and do that. But that was,
Yeah, you're
them
almost
trying to
desperate.
bring, like, GTA made the leap. All these other games made the leap into the 3D. So why not Spy Hunter? But I don't know if it'll sell on its own. Let's get Dwayne The Rock Johnson on the cover. Didn't help. It didn't
Yeah,
help.
they were kind of desperate back then, I guess.
Jacques says Spy Hunter is a good game, but it's not for me. I agree. BX says I liked Bases Loaded for the NES and it had voiceover. Yeah, that was Jalico. There was 4 of those, dude. 4 Bases Loaded on NES. Crazy. Star Wars. Wait a minute. Did we not? Didn't they review Star Wars already? I thought they already did this. Interesting. Star Wars by Lucasfilm / Lucas Arts for the NES. Wait a second. I thought we did Star Wars already. Oh well. There you go. Star Wars gets a 7 from Steve. Star Wars is a pretty cool adaptation of the movie on which it's based. It combines basic RPG elements with a number of different play themes and static intermissions aka cinematics, to move the story along. The setup is painfully tedious at times when you have to repeat areas, but all in all, it's a good effort. Wrong. This game sucks. It's like a 2. It's terrible.
I've
Sorry.
never played it. That's interesting that you say that, Jay. Look at the difference of opinions on this one. That one's kind of wild. I remember playing
Yeah, I
Super
like
Star
that.
Wars. That was obviously to me that was an awesome, challenging game. But I've never played the NES rendition of this. So, but you say
The
it
thr
sucks?
the 3 Super Star Wars on Super Nintendo are amazing, and the Indiana Jones trilogy, which is basically the same thing, but
Yeah,
indie
yeah.
on Super Nintendo is also awesome. But this one is not good. Did
Do
not
you know if
like
it's
it.
the same company that published it? Do you know that made it?
Yeah, it's LucasArts. Yeah.
Okay, wow. They I guess they figured it out for the Super Nintendo, but they didn't have it for this one. Probably because of the limitations. Who knows?
It's when George's company was still making games
Yeah.
before some of the bigger publications got a hold of it. All right, but yeah, you're up.
All right. Ed gives it a 4. The movie
Eek.
set. Pardon me. Yeah.
I said eek.
Yeah, the movie set standards. The movie set standards the industry is still trying to equal. The company could perform magic. The game, unfortunately, does neither and is very flat and ordinary. Not enough variety. The action never gets intense, and it just doesn't have the Star Wars excitement. A big disappointment. He did not like it.
Yeah, I look back at all the Star Wars games up until this point, and I gotta say, I don't think I was a fan of any of them, really, including the vector graphics arcade game, which I know a lot of people are fond of. I didn't think that was anything that great. Um, and then the 2 or 3 Atari 2600 Star Wars games are all terrible.
Oh my god, I think I remember one of them. I think it's Empire Strikes Back or something. Oh my god, that was
Empire.
brutal.
Empire by Activision, that one is the best of them. That's
Yeah,
when you're just a snow speeder and you're just fighting walkers
yeah.
before they get to Echo Base. That one's at least a decent shoot 'em up. But there's one it's like you're training with lightsabers and you need
Oh my god.
what's the one controller you need that you needed for like kaboom and stuff like that? I can't remember what that's called. But if you didn't have that,
Paddleboard, I
you
think.
was
The
broken.
paddle
You
thing.
know the turning dial thing?
Yeah, the paddle thing. Yeah, I'm not sure what the name was. Yeah,
Maybe that
yeah,
was
yeah,
called a paddle. Yeah.
yeah.
You needed that, and then there was a Return of the Jedi one that I never played that was a bit more rare. But I didn't like any of them, including this one, which is weird because you'd think it's Star Wars. It's
Hmm.
like a sure hit. Like, how can you mess that up?
Mm.
Knights 1 and 2. Enough said. Yeah, are those the best, Jock, for Star Wars? Are those your favorite? Those are pretty damn good, man. Okay, so take that how you want. I'm gonna pass on Star Wars for sure. If it's not very good. Impossible for the Turbo Graphics by NEC. 5. Ugh.
Do you know this game, Jay? Have you played it?
I know it, but I've never played it. I
Okay,
know of it. Yeah.
okay.
Impossible is a valiant attempt at recreating the action of other character oriented games or mascot games, but this title falls short because of the lack of personality, uh, technique that the title hero has to offer. It's a basic action game with some play mechanics. It's just too limited. Hmm.
Ed also gives it a 5. This is a cute game for the kids. Serious players won't think it has enough challenges, but the younger players will find it tough enough for their abilities. A good effort, but too limited. Good games could be made that appeal to audience like Bonk, only average at best.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those ones I think that's lost to time. I think Impossible is out. JT says I watched a video for Impossible last week. Nice looking, but not good gameplay. Yeah, same as like JJ and Jeff. Man, it looks great, but it plays like Aunt Connie trying to run down the street. It's awful.
Yeah, you played that the other day. I remember that.
Yeah. Raiden Trad by Micronet. Who the hell is Micronet? I don't
I,
know, but
hmm.
they made Raiden Trad. So a top-down shooter for the Genesis 8. Raiden Trad is nothing more than an all-out explosion of head-to-head blaster action. Okay. You get a number of power-ups, lots of firepower, and the usual cast of bad guys and bosses. Sure, This isn't anything new, but it's presented in a very slick manner that makes the trip worthwhile. 8. Not bad. Not bad.
Hmm. Ed also gives it an 8. An excellent vertically scrolling shooter. It isn't revolutionary as it utilizes older tried and true gameplay. But what makes this great is the fact that it does everything perfectly. Challenging gameplay, a good difficulty curve, and graphics that are among the best on the Genesis. Yeah, Genesis had some pretty good shooters, and what I liked about the Genesis ones, as you know, James, like on the Super Nintendo, they really suffer from like slowdowns, right? Radius 3 and Super R-Type are two games that come to mind. Some of the earlier titles, they just suffered from slowdown, and what I liked about the Genesis, it was not an issue for the Genesis at all, the speed.
The Genesis had a better processor,
Yeah,
and
blast processing.
yeah, I mean, I was a big
Yeah.
EA NHL guy back in the day, and it's night and day playing NHL 95 on the Genesis, and then you play it on Super Nintendo, and it's terrible compared to Genesis. So, but then the Super Nintendo had arguably better sound and a brighter color palette for sure. So
Hmm.
that's why it was great to have both, and
Yeah, if you have
such
the
a
both.
special time.
Hmm.
Okay, Raiden Trad, Crazy Land. Okay, and because I don't have access to my polls, we'll just throw it out there. Do you guys think we're going to see some Bishu controllers? What do you think? I don't know. I don't know. They're
Bijou.
still around, so yeah. I was saying this in the stream yesterday. Like I've asked a bunch of times, and this isn't giving anything away really for future videos. But I've asked a bunch of times to store owners if they have Bishu, and a lot of them don't even understand what I'm saying. So I have to explain. It's a brand of controller that was for the NES. They look like 2600 controllers. Nobody knows.
Wonder if it's
Nobody.
on eBay. Hmm.
We did the first couple times we saw them. We looked and they were on eBay. There's a
Let me
bunch of
see.
different models. Yeah,
My God.
yeah. Matt says Micronet has been around for a little while. They made a subsidiary called a BigNet USA in San Fran, July 1990. Interesting. Thanks, buddy. Think that ship has sailed, but I wish. Yeah, I mean, for goof's sake, I think Will and I are gonna have to get one off eBay. I just feel like we should have one in the collection. Okay, what is Speedball 2? A popular PC game about the same name, soon to be released on the Genesis. The card is dashing around the playing field after a ball trying to get past the goalpost. Okay, so it's like futuristic soccer, I guess. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think I've seen some gameplay. Didn't look that great.
Speedball 2 for the Genesis by Arena. While I give this game a couple of points for at least trying to give us something new and different, the execution and control just don't deliver. The futuristic sport doesn't really get you excited in a way a football title might, or and even though it's a nice try, it comes up short. Steve gives it a 4. Price is Right fail noise.
Well, Ed liked it a bit better. He gives it a 5. Speedball 2 is a challenging, futuristic soccer rugby type game. To me, it is a lot like Powerball. And while the action is intense and the gameplay is good, there is not that much difference between the two games. Yeah, Powerball is the one I remember, actually, not this one. Needs more color and sound. Otherwise, it's okay.
Jacques says something like rollerball.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I applaud them for trying something different. I mean, making up a sport isn't an easy thing to do, so points for that, but pass. And we got Home Alone.
Hmm.
Shout out to Macaulay Culkin. Home Alone by THQ on the Game Boy. Okay, so everybody in the chat, if you remember Home Alone being released around this time in the theaters, did you guys have Home Alone fever? Now that game, or sorry, the movie itself just took off. And I don't think it got Christmas cult status back then right away. I think it took a long time. Now it's obviously a staple Christmas movie, but back then I don't think that it was. But did you guys have Home Alone fever? I'm asking everybody. P90, did you? Was this like, were you like crazy for this movie?
Dude, we've talked before a few times. I think I wasn't definitely the biggest movie fan. I could probably count on my fingers the number of movies that I've seen in the theater back in those days. But I definitely remember my brother renting it afterwards, and so I saw it way later, and I thought it was good, but I can't say that we had that fear because I guess our family, we just didn't go to the movies. But a lot of my friends um, really went on how good this movie was. So yeah,
Okay. And Jacques says Home Alone, there's some memories now. Okay, something for you. Matt says no, Home Alone wasn't that big of a movie to me then, now, or ever.
hmm.
HGC says I played a lot of Home Alone on Game Boy. Really?
Hmm.
Interesting. Oh boy. There's always gotta be someone who brings this up.
Die Hard.
Is Die Hard I think I put
uh,
that on the poll last year around Christmas
oh
time.
my god.
Will and I argued about this. We want to open this can again. We can if you want. I it takes place during Christmas. There's Christmas imagery in it. Is it a Christmas movie? I don't think it is because you don't have that wholesome Christmas feeling. It's an action movie with blood and guts and violence.
Yeah, not
Do you
really
know what I
Christmas
mean?
like. Not really
Like
happy, right? Yeah.
there's action in Home Alone, there's adventure in Home Alone, there's violence in Home Alone, but there's also that warm Christmas feeling in Home Alone, which Die Hard does not have. So I will say no, it is not a Christmas movie.
Damn good movie though.
I agree it's a Christmas movie. You guys are crazy. The Lethal Weapon is a Christmas movie. Get the hell out of here with all that. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a Christmas movie too. What the hell? Throw that out
I
there.
mean, Gremlin has a Christmas. I think there's some Christmas. Did they go in a Christmas store in Gremlins? That could be a Christmas movie too. Why not, right?
You guys are the best. Love you. Raj says JNP90, your stream is a big hit today. Did you realize there are 19 legends in the chat? Raj, I love how enthusiastic you are. Love it, buddy. Thank you. Yeah, it's good. The Sunday streams are definitely growing, and I like them. They're nice and chill,
No,
and
they're
it's
fun.
great. It's great to have awesome guests to have amazing
Thank you.
chat.
Yeah.
Just talk about the good old days, right? Not that we don't do that every day, but you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Oh my god. Listen, okay? You got to have that do you know what I mean when I say Christmas feeling? You have to have that Christmas feeling in a Christmas movie. I'm so, like you don't get that in Silent Night, Deadly Night. Jesus. Gremlins has more Christmas vibe than Die Hard.
That's
Yeah,
what I remember too. Yeah.
I don't remember Gremlins enough to talk in detail about it, but
Oh man.
yeah,
I
I don't
remember it well, Jay. I think that was the first, I guess, horror-ish movie that I saw. My brother was like, "Hey," my older brother was like, "Hey, we have to listen to this movie." So I was totally into the movie. Then until it got to obviously the scarier parts, I was like traumatized, man. I had to stop watching the movie.
yeah.
I was like, what? I was young. I was really young.
It's time, says Bad Santa. Well, yeah, that movie is awesome. Bad Santa is great. Anyway, we're getting off topic. Okay, so Home Alone, we didn't even do this one yet.
Hmm.
Uh I've played Home Alone on Super Nintendo. Have you played it on anything? Have you played the NES one or Super Nintendo or Genesis?
Man,
Anything?
I've never played any Home Alone game to be honest, Jay. So I can't really comment on that. But no, I have never played it.
There was a Matt will know the name of it. The Home Alone fan made game I played last year on Steam. It was called like Home Invader or something, but it was unlicensed. It was a 3D action game. That was probably the best Home Alone game I've played, but I've
Mm.
played it on Super Nintendo and it didn't do anything for me. It was all right, but so Steve gives it a 4. While the game capitalizes on the successful comedy, the developers Home Alone missed a grand chance to really create a game that could have opened up a new category of video games and make you laugh. It's a stale action wannabe that is slow and tedious.
Hmm. Ed gives it a 5. Home Alone captures some of the flavor of the movie. As a game, it is okay and has some good action sequences, but with a bit more effort, it could have been a great game. needs better control and more variety. The graphics are too plain and don't help the game along.
Not too great. And I talk about Game Boy, very innovative system, but any kind of side-scrolling action game back in the day for me was really tough on the eyes. That's why I have glasses now playing these damn things. No, like,
Dude,
did you ever play Mario Land? Do you
I
remember
was
Mario
just gonna
Land?
say that, man. Playing Mario Land, even as a kid, my eyes were squinting. You needed the perfect lighting. Even then,
Yeah.
oh man, such it was great music. It looked great, but yeah, it was hard to play for sure.
It's great now on the Switch. You can play Mario Land, which is
Yeah,
awesome because the game is awesome.
yeah.
It was just playing it on the monochrome screen was a little rough. Just a little
With like
rough.
a 2-inch screen. Oh my
Home
gosh.
Defender, thank you. Home Invader is from GTA. That's right. Thanks, Matt. Chantel, how you doing? Don't come in with all the Christmas talk. I already want to put the tree up. Yeah, it's spring for you and Jacques, right? That's crazy. It's like just turning to fall for us. Very
Mhm.
cool. What narrow view? What are you talking about? What are you guys going on about with this Christmas stuff again? Yeah, whatever. Whatever. Sorry, did you do this one? You just read it, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So APB, I think that was an arcade game from back in the day. This is a Lynx game by Atari.
Hmm.
6 from Steve. APB was a prime example of a player game when it was released in the arcades. The game is packed with plenty to interact with, but eventually proved too complicated for most players. It gets a second chance, and even though some parts are gone, it's still pretty good. Didn't they make APB into a Grand Theft Auto type of game that was canceled, if I
Hmm.
remember correctly?
I've
Just
never even heard of this game.
I think that was like a GTA clone that was a free to play one. I think back in the day. Anyway, it got a
Hmm.
6.
Ed gives it a 6. A very good translation of the arcade game. The action sequences are well done, although scaled back quite a bit, unfortunately, due to the point where there isn't enough variety to hold a player's interest as some of the other titles do. The parkway scene is exceptionally well done.
Nice. And shout out to the Lynx collectors out there. I know there's not many, but you know, it was a good try on Atari's part. There you go. Look at that. Oh, I
Ninja
love it.
Gaiden.
Beautiful box art. All
Yeah.
Tecmo stuff is great. Even like Solomon's Club, Power Race. I like the grid and Bad News Baseball. It's just so
Hmm.
good. Electronic Gaming Monthly. What is this? Oh, is this? Oh, yeah, this is
The
what?
game's coming up, right? Yeah.
Yeah, new releases, and this is something they started a couple issues back, which is great. Hot pick of the month, and they still don't have exact dates, but at least we have months now, so that was good. So we got some good stuff coming out. Like, remember Wolverine? You ever play Wolverine?
I've never played it, but I heard really good things about it.
Gun Knack,
That was
which
a
is
good shooter.
yeah, it was the same company that made Blazing Lasers. Bill
Yeah,
and
you
Ted,
mentioned
which
that. Yeah.
sucks. Nice. And Super Nintendo, here we go. Yeah, we got our launch titles: Chess Master, Hyperzone, Paperboy, Super Bases Loaded,
Yeah.
ActRaiser. Yeah, we can see the systems are starting to slow down, right? Master System has just Spider-Man, which is rough. Neo Geo has Burning Fight, King of Monsters. Again, they're more arcade, so it's not a huge deal. And the Turbos hanging in there. Champions Forever Boxing, Silent Debuggers, Ease 3, Impossible. There's your Parasol stars right there.
Hmm.
The wannabe Bubble Bobble game.
Yeah, I saw you play that. Yes, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and it didn't
Yeah.
look that great. It didn't look like the control was. It didn't look like a fun game to me, anyways.
It's apparently in the Bubble Bobble universe, but yeah, not super great. Oh boy. The Quarterman, the gaming gossip guru that he is, which
Yeah.
man dropped like so much news on us that all of it was absolutely true. So this guy is the best, but he's very wordy and his thoughts tend to wander, but that's okay. We love him nonetheless. Where do we want to start here? Okay. Whew. All right. This is a wild ride reading his stuff, okay? So
No,
I'll do
man.
my best. I'll do my
Yeah.
best. Hold on to your cart. Hold on to your carts. Hold on to your carts on My Little Quarter Maniac.
My
See,
God.
am I reading that wrong? Hold on to your carts on My Little Quarter Maniacs.
What
See
does
what I'm
that mean?
saying?
Yeah, yeah, that's weird.
It's not me. It's not the
No, it's not.
Canadian school system, JT. That's how it's wrote. That's how it's wrote. By the way, next Sunday, our channel member, longtime viewer, JT, is going to be here on this very show
Awesome.
doing some EGM with me. And that's great. I'm looking forward to that. But it's going to be Canadian school system versus the US school system
Here we
next
go.
week. It's on. It's on. It's Quarterman here to put some sizzle back into your joysticks with a load of red hot with a load of red hot rumors from those in the know. Oh my god. Foreign correspondent Terry Akai again gets dual billing this month with some tasty dirt from the streets of Japan. But the Q Man would like to begin this month's exciting episode with some ultra secret news on the new Super NES that isn't. It appears that General N has pulled a fast one on us, my Q fans. But for a lucky few, this rumored fluke could be a bonanza. I don't even know what any of that means, but I'm still going. Oh god, this is rough. Anyone adventurous enough to pry into the guts of the Super NES has found a nice extra feature: complete compatibility with the Japanese Super Famicom. Okay, so I was wrong. I was wrong. P90, there you go. I guess
There
it
you
is
go.
compatible.
Hmm.
Similar to the operation that Doc Q pioneered with the Genesis, it appears that the Super NES can be slightly modified. Oh, okay. So you do have to modify it.
There we go.
It can be slightly modified to accept Japanese softs.
Japanese sauce.
While this would, at first glance, look to be a great benefit to our international fans, Nintendo's hidden agenda, if current rumors serve me right, will become apparent when the machine goes into its second and subsequent production runs. Nintendo evidently will only allow the first wave of Super Nintendo in the States to enjoy this compatibility. They reportedly plan to scramble the brains of future Super NES release as a poke in the eye to foreign importers. Very clever, Nintendo. But what a premium all of us first in line guys are going to get will decide to sell our bilingual units. Ha ha ha. Oh my god, dude. Listen, are you sure you want to do this?
Dude, I'll give it a shot. As a French
It's
Canadian, it's going to be rough.
yes, I know P90 English is not your first language. So
All
you're
good.
doing amazing, but I got to tell you
Thank
buddy,
you.
this is another
Yeah.
this is on another level.
Yeah. But
Shout out to K-Mac.
just to touch upon the Super Nintendo, as you know, Jay, I think it was on sale in the US before Canada, but my aunt drove down to the States, bought me and my cousin a Super Nintendo, and came back the same day. And we played Super Mario World. Me and my cousin played Super Mario World all night. Some of my probably best gaming memories ever. It was so cool that she went in the US and actually got us a Super Nintendo before almost, well, it wasn't out in Canada yet, right? I'm not sure how you got yours, Jay.
I'm gonna say I don't remember
Oh, you
that
don't remember?
specific system. I'm gonna say Christmas
Yeah.
probably for
Okay.
that
So you
one.
got a
But
little later then.
that's a cool story, man.
Yeah.
Anytime that you could get something back then ahead of your buddies,
Yeah.
like it was just cool, right? Because it was like a big celebration. The last time that happened with me was the first Rock Band,
Oh,
and
wow.
for
That was
whatever
good.
reason, the States got it before Canada did, and my mom was in the States with my aunt,
She got it.
and she got it. She called me 3 in the morning
Oh
from a
my
Black
God.
Friday, or sorry, it was like 1 or 2 in the morning, I should say. Called me. They have this giant Rock Band thing. Do you want it? I'm like, oh my god, yes,
Such a big box, eh? That's awesome. Also had that. Yeah,
huge.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was good.
yeah.
All right. We're getting our topic here. So I'll read the second part. All right.
Good luck.
In addition to Nintendo's playful ploys, the Quarterman's ports are also in an uproar over rumors from my brown bag genie that Sony ImageSoft may have launched a COUP against Capcom to capture some of the company's hottest talent. I have no idea what I just wrote. What I just read. While this can't be confirmed, sources close to both companies have told Quarterman that the soft Sony is so wild over is none other than Hook, the Steven Spielberg adaptation of Peter
Oh,
Pan due for Christmas. What a letdown.
ugh.
I
That's the
was
big. That's the big game. Basically, is what they're saying. Is
okay.
it was held under secrecy by Sony, and it turns out that
Okay.
it's Hook.
Yeah, I remember that game. Never played it though. I
Yippee!
was so looking forward to seeing. Dude, I gotta read this word. Sigourney Bald in Alien 3 this year.
Oh,
But
that's
now,
Sigourney. Sigourney.
oh, Sigourney. Okay, I'm not even familiar with
I
Alien
think
3. I
that's
know it's a
Sigourney.
popular. Okay,
I don't know.
but
I,
now it looks like the studios are pushing this final installment in the series back in 1992. Batman 2 is looking to be quite a prolific title when it finally rolls around into video game screens next year. Among the parties interested in the sequel to Tim Burton's vision of the Cloud Cape Crusader economy for the Super NES and Sega for the Genesis. Yours truly can't confirm either of these announcements directly, but the possibilities for dueling 16-bit Batmans is quite an interesting concept. Whew. Okay,
that's rough, but you did pretty good. You did
thanks,
pretty
man.
good. I don't remember the game either, Matt. Like I remember the game, I don't remember playing it. Um, yeah, Hook was Dustin Hoffman and Robin Williams back in the day. I never did see it. It never really interested me. It's kind of like Waterworld. I remember everyone went crazy for Waterworld too, and I was just like, Waterworld. Give me Waterworld on the Virtual Boy. Now we'll talk.
Oh wow.
It looks. Oh God, here we go. It looks like a true 32-bit system is definitely going to be a reality sometime next year, at least in Japan. Sources close to Mr. Q have just such a system now feverishly being worked on by the hardware gurus at Hudson in Japan. Whether this super system will show its face wearing an NEC label has yet to be determined. But one thing is for sure is it's loaded with plenty of good looks and great video. The quarterman has to wonder, since the Jaguar is in reality a dual set of 32-bit processors, could there be a connection between the American release of the new Hudson Soft system and the Jaguar? No. Stay tuned. Dragon's Lair 2, which neared completion several years ago but was shelved when Laserdisc players became too taboo in the coin-op world, will now get a second chance at life. In the face of games like Mad Dog McCree that have shown that a good game, whoa, in the face of good games like Mad Dog McCree that have shown that a good game will draw bucks, even if it is a Laserdisc title, Dirk the Daring will finally get a chance to redeem himself in Daphne's eyes. Long live Dragon's Lair. It's impossible, but I love it.
All right, last paragraph. Don't be surprised if you see a 16-meg Genesis game in the near future. Do you think that Nintendo could have made this Super NES look any cheaper? Come on, guys. The Japanese version had some style. But this machine, from its disappearing ejection button for the cute little Sara Lee mold that it looks like it popped out of, is really the bits. Sure, it is
Jeez.
what's inside the counts, but couldn't you think of something with a little more muscle to it? But you didn't expect to see your name here, did you, Mr. Nielsen? Look for the Atari links to pop up with some major league licenses in the coming year. Everything from sports games to Ninja Gaiden 3 may find their way on the powerful portable. Until next time, my quarter friends, don't get hit.
Yeah, I would have to agree with him there. I think the Super Nintendo design overall is not nearly as good as the Super Famicom.
Oh, absolutely. It looks, I always thought it looked weird, but back in the day, I guess I didn't even care. I just wanted to play the games, right? But it always looked kind of weird with that eject button. And I think I hadn't seen the Super Famicom one because, like I told you, I didn't see, I had Nintendo Power, and I'm not even sure if they published the Famicom. Yeah, they probably did. But I never thought to myself, oh, the Super NES doesn't look as good as the Super Famicom. I guess I just cared about the games, right?
There's Kadash. It's so real. It's unreal. This is Turbo Graphics, TV Sports Hockey. It's so real. It's unreal. Okay. Yeah, TV Sports was their series. Look at this thing. So here's your portable Turbo Graphics,
Hmm.
a Grail. And this hunkin' thing on the side is the TV tuner P90. So you can watch one station or two stations.
On your small screen, yeah, that that must have been
Like,
fun.
I mean, I'm just saying you had to be a really rich kid to have any of this stuff. I don't know anybody who had this stuff. Like to have the Turbo Express alone was crazy. And then the CD add-on and then the TV tuner. Like there's no way. There's just no way, but it's
Hmm.
pretty cool. New wide gear and wide links let you play Game Gear and Links games on TV. The wide gear. That's interesting.
Hmm.
There's Ninja Gaiden for Links, I think, right there. The arcade game.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. I don't remember those coming out, but that was the one for the Super Nintendo let you play Game Boy games on the TV. I remember that.
I had that, the Game Boy adapter. That was great, actually.
Yeah. Real said I had the TV, the Game Gear TV tuner. Quarterman did the Ninja Gaiden. Hiya! The Ancient Ship of Doom. I think it's the hardest of all of them, but anyway, we'll pass on that for now. Blastum Humphrey, Altered Space. You guys remember such amazing mascots as Humphrey, don't you? I sure don't. One thing I love, dude, on these
Mm-hmm.
like these old issues is you see like these stores
Yeah.
that you could call, and this was like their catalog of everything that they had for sale. I just think it's so cool. And there's a lot of import stores back in the day too that advertised in EGM. Strider for Super Graphics. Oh,
Oh wow.
did that ever come out? I don't think that ever came out though. There was only
Yeah.
6 games on Super Graphics. Anyway, this is cool, man. There's so much awesome, so many amazing Japanese games that we've never played. You know,
Mm-hmm.
never played. This is International Outlook, I think. So these are Japanese games. Steel Empire. I don't recognize any of these. Forgotten Worlds. Forgotten Worlds was a great game by Capcom. And again, it was one I was talking about earlier. I guess this came out for the PC Engine CD-ROM. Again, so it's so weird. Like, I don't understand why some games had to be on CD. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the full motion video stuff I get because that's just straight up video that you're trying to put onto. You can't put that on a cart, or the cart's going to be $5,000, right? But CD had more room to store data, so that makes sense. But something like Forgotten Worlds, it's a fairly basic shooter, so I don't know why it would have to be on a CD. So many hot softs. Check the lower left-hand corner of that ad. Give you a Mega Drive Genesis converter for free when you bought a Mega Drive game. Oh, that's sick. Really?
Oh.
Not this one. This one. Oh yeah.
Oh, free. Yeah. Huh.
Look at that right there. We can cut that out.
There we go.
And a $5 off coupon too. That's great. Alicia Dragoon, that would eventually come to Genesis. Eternal Legend, I don't remember. I mean, I just love looking at stuff like this. And you said this is great for you, P90, because a lot of the old ads you never saw before.
Right.
But just look how much time and effort went into these ads. Like, it's so great. I just love it. This is obviously like a post-apocalyptic thing. We have a burnt piece of newspaper.
Yeah.
It's just awesome, man. Here you go. This one's for JT. Human Winner's Horse. Oh, it's by Human for the Game Boy.
Winner's Horse. What the?
There you go, buddy. Game of the year. That's a hot soft. Light Boy is bound to attract attention. Oh yeah, we've seen this ad before.
Yeah.
By Bobby Hubbs or whoever this is.
With the magnifying glass and the light. Oh my gosh.
Why is this guy on 1 foot? How's he standing? Oh, he's sitting down. Never mind. Light boy.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Everything is rushed now. Yeah. I mean, we don't even get on the back of boxes now. We don't even really get pictures of games. I mean, heck, we're not even going to have boxes anymore soon.
Yeah, that's sad.
The lost art of video game art. What? Oh, this is our. Oh no, this is the power. Experience the power at software. Oh, this is a store. Okay, I thought this was the Super Nintendo buyer's guide. There again, a young JT right there. There he is. Keeping it portable was tough until now. So I don't know where you grew up, P90, but do you think legitimately that you could walk down the street with this and not get punched in the face?
Dude, even as a kid, I would have never asked for this. Even if I would have got this as a Christmas gift, I would have kept it inside, man. I would have never went outside with this thing. I mean, look at this thing. It's it's like, come on,
The
man.
gamekeeper. I would have wanted the gamekeeper, but I would have been very scared to go outside. I
Yeah,
liked it
absolutely.
particularly that it looks like Indiana Jones satchel, so I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would have got punched in the head.
Oh, for sure. Or
And then
teased
the
or
police,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah, and he would have taken all your hot softs, and then you just would have been a hot mess. It's not good. Oh, we got a 2-page spread on Terminator 2, the arcade game. This was a good one. I think Midway made this one. Oh, it's the pinball. Oh, the video game and the pinball game. So we got double hot softs here. Look how they censored the kid's mouth. What? What do you mean? What did they do? So because they didn't want anyone to read his lips about what he thought. uh, do you think? Do you think he just got paid in this case? Like they contacted, they put an ad in the paper. They're like, okay, we need a kid,
Hmm.
grade 6 or 7 or whatever, to be in an advertisement, but we can't pay any cash. We'll give him a case. And his mom and dad drove him down. It's like, all right, that's just one less thing I got to buy him for Christmas, right?
Yeah. Who knows how this came about?
He
Man.
got paid in cases. There you go. Are you a fan of Terminator?
Well, I saw the second movie. I think I saw it at the theater with a buddy. It was good. Never saw the arcade game though, but my buddy went on about it that it was a good game. But yeah, Terminator 2, good movie. Then I saw one afterwards, and really different movie than the second one, right? But yeah, definitely a good movie. But never seen the arcade game.
Yeah, the arcade game has two Uzis that are mounted, so it's a
Oh,
shooting
okay. It's one of
game.
those shoot. Oh, cool, cool. Like
Yeah,
Operation
and I
Wolf kind of
think
thing. Okay.
T1000's exoskeleton is usually on the top of it.
Okay.
Looks
Oh,
really
wow.
nice. Really cool showpiece.
Hmm.
The pinball game is obviously very impressive. You can see the T1000 skull there as well. Christoph Willie is on vacation for a few weeks. Oh, there it is. That's nice. I like how Retro Mags does that.
Hmm.
It's very cool. Oh, Time Traveler. I don't think Den of Geek is in the chat today, but Den and I always talk about this game by Sega. Did you ever play Time Traveler? Do you know what this is?
To be honest, I've never played it. The only way I've seen it, I think GamePro, the TV show that you showed last a few weeks
Oh,
ago.
that's right. They
I
showed
think
it.
they
Yeah.
had a session on this, and that's the only time I've seen this because I don't think I've seen this at a local arcade back in the day. But yeah.
Yeah, our big arcade, Ace Arcade, actually had this, and it was a gimmick, right? Like it was
Mm,
holographic,
yeah.
the illusion of holograms, right? Yeah, time JT said Time Traveler was not good. Yeah, it was not. It was just one of those things. Okay, I'm going to compare it to Dragon's Lair. I think Dragon's Lair is good,
Hmm.
so I'm just going to compare it to gimmick wise, right? Like the big draw to Dragon's Lair was that it was a laserdisc game, and it was basically a living cartoon. Like you were actually playing the cartoon, so it was gimmicky that way. Same deal with this, right? It was gimmicky because it was the first holographic game.
Right.
Yeah, I think we talked about that. Like you put the quarter in, or it's probably this one would have been 50 cents back in the day. You put 50 cents in, and you didn't even know what you were doing. And then by the time you figured it out, you were kind of dead, right?
Yeah,
So
the controls must be like super not obvious, right? I mean, you'll play this once or twice, and then like I can't picture a kid putting in quarters and quarters and quarters trying to beat the game, right? I mean, I guess Maybe I'm wrong, but I just can't picture that.
Yeah, and I believe like your character didn't even scroll from side to side. I think it was kind of like Mad Dog McCree, where I think guys just popped up
Okay.
and you shot
Oh,
them. I
okay.
don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
been a while. Oddly enough, there is a home version of this game.
Hmm.
There is an unlicensed PlayStation 2 game of this. And I used to have it back in the day. And I remember because EB Games sold it. So I
Oh,
remember when it
wow.
came through the one day I bought it. I wish I still had it because I've never seen it since. But there was a home port of this game. There you go. Ooh, Navy SEALs.
Man.
The Super Famicom times. I love EGM. They love their Japanese games. It's so great. This was, as you know, Japanese games. You know, they would hit Japan, and we would
Hmm.
get them 6 months, maybe
Right.
later, if they ever came at all. So, still a lot of great games that came from Japan that we never got. Oh, this guy, all right. Look at this guy. Oh my god, little beefy, little beefy. Star Control. Yeah, these were. Who is this? This is Ballistic. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know these games.
Mike Dick at Football,
Hmm.
Terracon, Onslaught. Yeah, these were cardboard games for, I believe, Genesis NPC.
Okay. Hmm.
I think they were cardboard cases. Yeah. There you go. There's a nice ad. Had this hanging in my room way
Cool.
back in the day. And you know what I would do? I talk about the one magazine, Video Games and Computer Entertainment, that I would buy, and I called it the poster magazine because I would carefully rip out all the ads. But
Right.
dude, I would like alternate the ads. Like
Really?
I would take down old ones and put up new ones as
Oh
new
my
ones
God.
appeared in magazines. Like
You were
hardcore.
hardcore. Nice.
My mom didn't like it too much because I was ripping the paint and ripping the wallpaper. And dude, I had Empire Strikes Back wallpaper,
Oh wow.
putting holes in it, ripping off the ads
Oh
that
my
had
God.
double-sided tape.
Eesh.
Ah,
Sega.
all right. Here's our our Sega Force insert. Here we go. We'll skim through this. Oh, look at that. Have you ever seen one of these?
No, Sega Master System 2. I didn't even know this was a thing. I guess it was kind of like
Yeah.
the second version of the Nintendo, right? They had a remake or a remodel of it. Interesting.
Yep. The second NES. There's a second version of the Super Nintendo.
Right. Oh, that's
This
right.
is the second version of the Master System. One I've been looking for. Now, I will say, I have seen it throughout the years. I just never pulled the trigger on it. It's usually a little more expensive than I'd like to pay for it. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's cool. I think it's way better than the Master System one in terms of design. It's just way
Yeah, it
better.
looks kind of cool.
Jay was hardcore. Jay is still hardcore, my friend, and my mom is awesome. Thank you for saying that. Matt says Time Traveler was the first game to take a dollar bill. Oh, we had loonies, bud. Yeah, in the 90s we got the loonies. So I've never put a dollar bill into an arcade game. That's strange.
My God, no. Well, Loonies came out in '97, though. I think 80. Yeah, '87 was the Loonies came out.
87. Yeah,
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 yeah. And then the Toonie was in the 90s.
yeah.
Pretty sure, yeah. So here we go. The contents of Sega Force. Everyone, I hope you're having a good time in the chat. If there's anything that you guys see that you want to talk about, please just throw it up, and we can certainly, if we pass it, we can go back to it.
Hmm.
Again, we kind of just talk about what's interesting, right? So whatever you see you like to talk about, let us know. Tom Kalinske. There you go. Mr. Kalinske.
So he was a
The
Sega guy.
toy he was the toy guru brought in.
Okay.
One thing I talk about with the downfall of Sega, I don't have any concrete proof of this, P90. Okay, this
Okay.
is just what I think because I know my toys. Kalinske was a big guy, I believe, at Mattel, and he was brought in to oversee Sega in North America, and he kind of brought in the toy mentality when it came to hardware. So when the 32-bit age was coming around, he looked at it from a customer perspective and was like, well, not everyone's going to be able to drop $399 for a Saturn, so we should have a lower price point piece of hardware that we can attach to existing hardware that turned out to be the 32X that parents could afford. So if you remember back in the day, like toys, there would be, let's just say GI Joe, there would be lower price point vehicles for, so
Right.
you could have a smaller tank, right? There would be the big price point tank that'd be like
Okay.
$30. Not all parents could afford that, but Hasbro was really good because they would make lower price point ones. So it would include basically all families. I believe Tom Kalinske tried to do this with Sega, and that is one of the downfalls. And I'm not going to slam him for trying that, but bringing in cheaper hardware to appease to everybody was just confusing. And ultimately, I think this is what started the demise of Sega. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Even today, I keep on hearing about the Sega 32 and then the 32X and then the CD-ROM. And as someone who's not doesn't have a little knowledge of Sega, even I'm confused, right? I'm sure there's a history behind it, but it seems very confusing. So I could just imagine back in the day.
Yeah.
Could you imagine parents going to the store and like, oh, what's this? Oh, what Sega? Okay, what is this thing doing? And like, yeah, that must have been pretty
Yeah.
confusing.
So we got the 32X, which would attach to the Genesis, and that I guess technically made you had to buy 32X games, and they were 32-bit, but they weren't. They didn't look that great.
Okay.
And then you had 32X CD games, and then 6 months later, Sega surprised people in North America by dropping the Saturn in May unannounced, which still to this day is a tactic that has never been used because it was a colossal failure. You don't drop a $400 piece of hardware on the public without giving them fair warning. So the Saturn didn't sell well. It was released May 5th, 1995, and it just came out. I remember walking by Electronics Boutique. I've talked about this before, seeing it in the storefront window. I was like,
Wow.
what? The Saturn's out? And for 3 long summer months, all we had was Virtual Fighter Daytona and a game called Bug by Sega. That was it.
Oh my gosh.
So it's crazy. My point to that long-winded diatribe there was just too much hardware too fast, and you're scaring away the people that are buying this, which is still the majority of parents back then, right? So whereas Nintendo was easy. You had Nintendo, then you had a Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
It's
I was
easy,
just gonna say it was simple. Even
right?
PlayStation, I think PlayStation was pretty simple too. PS1, PS2, PS3. I don't think they had any gimmicks. Just release the system and that's it, right?
That's right. It's
Yeah.
very easy. And I still like to this day, even though it might be boring to some, I still like how PlayStation just numbers it. Like Xbox now is so confusing,
Dude, when the Xbox One came
right?
out, I had someone who doesn't really follow. I'm like, what is this Xbox One thing? What the heck? Like, what is this?
Yeah, because you would think Xbox One would be the
Yeah,
first Xbox,
yeah. That
but
was
it's
a weird
not.
naming choice. That was so weird, but whatever.
Yeah, so Real says Saturn was the superior system. Games were so much better than anything on PlayStation. Whoa. Whoa, microphone drop. Look at this guy. I can't agree with that. That's a pretty big blanket statement. Saturn had amazing games for sure, but so did PlayStation, right? I don't think. I mean, obviously, PlayStation destroyed it. Yeah, the Xbox naming conversation is the dumbest thing ever. I didn't like.
Mm,
My point is, it's boring. PlayStation 1, 2, 3, sure, but I like it, and it's easy for people to understand,
yeah,
right? So there
as
you
it
go.
should be, especially for parents, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So this is the force of the future. So basically, we're getting into the future of Genesis games and Sega CD. Remember a game called Toe Jam and Earl? Do you remember that?
I remember seeing that again on the GamePro episode, and I thought it looked kind of cool. The music was quirky, like that bass, and it looked like a cool game. Never played it though, but yeah, it looked fun.
Real says PlayStation had the chance to get all the games, but I mean Saturn's hardware was better. That I trust you on. I don't know. So if you say that's the way it is, that's the way it is. I didn't know out of the two which was the more powerful. I know comparing Resident Evil, the Saturn version is inferior in terms of the way it is graphically. It's just a lot more jagged. But overall, what's inside under the hood of the Saturn versus the PlayStation, that I don't know.
But again, as we talked about earlier, Jay, it's all about the games, right? I mean, from what I'm
Yeah.
hearing, the PlayStation games probably blew the Saturn out of the water, right? With all the variety and all the different games, right? So
Yeah, the Saturn launched with arcade ports of Virtual Fighter and Daytona, which was incredible. Daytona was a showstopper back in the day. So, like a home port, a pretty good home port of Daytona was incredible. And Virtual Fighter was super hot back then. And then PlayStation launched with like Battle Arena Toshinden, the one sports racing game. I can't remember the other games. Probably Madden. They both had impressive launch lineups. But overall, I think PlayStation just took off. They had a lot of Japanese developers. We're just kind of going through any of these games you guys want to talk about. These are just games being showcased by EGM that are Genesis. Crossfire. Madden. I'm still looking for an original copy of Madden on Genesis. That's the box right there. It is cardboard, so it's a little harder
yeah,
to find in good shape, but
yeah. And that must
so
have been the
good.
first one, right? That's probably that one doesn't have a number, a year associated to it, if I had to
Yeah,
guess. Yeah, okay.
this was just John Madden football, the original.
Like
Yeah.
NHL hockey. Yeah.
Yeah, so great. So great. Look at all these games. Hard driving. What a terrible game. Yeah, I think these are all the games. Yeah, this Ghostbuster game,
Hmm.
man, if you're ever gonna start collecting Genesis P90 or you're ever interested in getting
Hmm.
into Genesis, you won't find Ghostbusters on any compilation, I'm guessing because of licensing.
Licensing, yeah.
But this game is so great.
Hmm.
Sega actually made this one. It's like it's just got the three. It doesn't have Winston in it for some reason. It's got the three
Oh,
guys,
wow. Okay.
and they're like little bobbleheads. Like the characters are bobbleheads.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Cool.
cool, man.
Hmm.
Heart Zog Zwei. Yeah, that game is really rare. It was super rare back in the day too. I remember not knowing too many people who had it, but that game is awesome. I agree. Such a good game. Montana, there's my guy. I think my favorite sports athlete next to Jordan. I love Joe Montana. Oh my God. 49ers back in the day,
Hmm.
but not so much anymore. Moonwalker, a fantastic game. Midnight Resistance, that's a Data East game that Sega brought over. Mystic Defender, the sequel to Spellcaster on the Master System. Like, it's just, you can really see here if you're just pitting Turbo Graphics against Genesis, Genesis just is blowing by them, right?
Right.
There's just next to no third party support on Turbo, and they were just getting buried. They're just getting buried, unfortunately. I mean, we even had friggin' Rambo on Genesis, man.
Cool. Rastan Sega. Huh.
Rastan, yeah, Rastan Sega 2. Shadow Dancer was great. There's Samick the Hedgehog. Remember that game? Strider, you got to play Strider if you can get your hands on it. Even just the arcade version, it's one of the best Capcom games
Yeah,
ever
well,
made.
my son has one of the one-up arcade games right behind here. He has a Street Fighter 2, the arcade one, and I think Strider's on there, and it's his favorite game on it. It plays good. I've never played the Genesis version, but the arcade game plays great.
So yours probably has Ghosts and Goblins on it.
Yes, it does. Oh my gosh,
And you have
that's my favorite
Strider.
game on there. Yeah,
You have Dark Stalkers. You have 5 versions of Street Fighter. Yeah, it's the one I got too. Yeah.
yeah,
It's awesome, man. And Final Fight, dude. It's worth it just for Final Fight on there.
yeah, yeah,
You guys probably have gone through that a couple times together, right?
yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. A lot of Sega goodness. Okay, we're gonna skip past that a bit. Sneak previews, Project Genesis for your eyes only. So Genesis stuff coming out.
Hmm.
The only one I recognize here is Bonanza Brothers, which did you
Bonanza
ever
Brothers.
play Spy versus Spy on NES?
I haven't. No.
A little bit like that. A little
Okay.
bit like that. Some brilliant games, absolutely. Absolutely. Whoops. Go. Death Duel, Chuck Rock, another mascot game that didn't really
Hmm.
take off. What is that? Berlin Wall.
Hmm.
Avoid the enemy chasing you as you climb up and down the ladders. Dig holes in the floor in order to trap the bad guys and bury them. What? Can somebody check in the chat? Did that ever come out? Berlin Wall. I don't recall that. I wouldn't even know what that looks like.
So Genesis was pretty aggressive with their software, with their games coming out. I guess, and the Super NES was coming out here too. So that must have been a very good war among the systems, right? Wow.
Yeah, I mean one feather in Sega's cap was that they didn't shy away from violence like Nintendo still did, right? If the game was violent, they were fine. They didn't need to dub it down.
Yeah.
Sorry, dumb it down. Hence the Genesis version of Mortal Kombat
I was just
arguably
gonna say that.
being
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey Mo, good morning. You're awake. Good to see you, buddy. Just in time. You made it in the AM. Good to see you.
Nice.
Decap Attack was good. You're this little mummy guy. Another mascot game. Growl. Does anybody know what Growl is? Growl is a side-scrolling beat 'em up that is basically an Indiana Jones game without being an Indiana Jones game. Yeah, it's very much like Double Dragon, but you have gentlemen with a white ripped collared shirt, a fedora, a whip, and brown pants.
Hmm.
Pretty much exactly like Indy. Jacques says it was released in 1991. Really? I'm gonna look that up. That's so cool. Allison, how you doing? Good to see you in the chat. Good morning. All right, moving on the road to renovation. Renovation is was a pretty big third party company producing Genesis games, and they
Oh
have
wow.
their own insert in here. So yeah,
Oh.
P90 EGM is starting to make some mad advertising bucks here, big time. JT says Growl had a cool anti-animal poaching message. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Very cool. Oh, okay. Berlin Wall's canceled North America. Okay, yeah, because I've never seen that. So it did come out on the Mega Drive then,
Hmm.
but never. Okay, that explains it because it doesn't ring a bell. Dino Land, Gyrez. How would you say this, dude? We can never get this right.
Oh man. Gyrus. Yeah.
Gyrez,
Mm-hmm.
Gyrez, and the guys in the chat will spell it out again for me how to say it. I was just say Gyrez, whatever.
Yeah.
Arcus Odyssey. They like their tongue twisters. Gain Ground. That was another great game. Master of Monsters. I don't recognize this one at all. Valus was a cool side-scrolling action game. Valus was just such a cool character as well. She was just a badass. Really showcased the awesome graphic power of both the TurboGrafx CD. Oh, Valus 3 was on that. I think it was Valus 3, and the regular Genesis here as well.
Yeah, it's out on the Super Nintendo as well. I think it's on the SNES online thing. One of
Oh,
the
is
many
it?
reasons. Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's Valus 4 on there if I recall. But yeah, it plays pretty well.
Very cool. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sid of Valus? What?
Sid of Valus.
Huh. So it's a spin-off from Valus, it looks like. And are you familiar with this game? This one here.
Yes, I am. I'm definitely familiar with the series. Is this the first one?
Wanders from how do you pronounce this title? How do you
I
say
used to
this?
say Wise, but then I've heard people say that it's Ease. So I think Ease is the official pronunciation, but I always
Yeah.
wanted to say Wise for some reason.
Well, I used to say that too because it is a Y, right? So I thought,
Exactly,
okay,
yeah.
it's called Wise apostrophe S, but I guess it is ease, but whatever. Vapor Trail. Nope. I gotta say, I can take one or two shooters, top down or side scroller, but they really start to blend together with me. Oh, it just if you've played one, you played them all. I know shooter fans are probably like that's not true, but they just get boring for me. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Oh, and this is that poor woman that just worked in like the back offices of renovation, and they're like, "Hey, Sue, come on up here. We need somebody to put on this
Oh my
costume because
gosh. Yep.
she's clearly unimpressed with having to wear
That's
this."
hilarious.
Poor woman. But
Yikes.
this Valus 3 has 8 mega power. My buddy had this game. Valus was one of his favorite characters.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Mary Lemieux. Hmm.
there you go. Mario Lemieux. He's Canadian, yeah?
He's from the Montreal area, but
Right.
man, I mean, I've never played the Mary Lemieux hockey, but I'm sure it doesn't hold a candle against NHL hockey. I could almost guarantee that.
No, the sports celebrity endorsed games kind of went by the wayside shortly after this for the most part, except Madden football.
Yeah, that's an exception.
Because you'd have like Joe Montana football on Genesis, and it would have the numbers or the names, but it wouldn't have both.
Yeah,
But then you had like EA doing actual, like the first NHL hockey, what was it? It was the teams, right? So you would have actual like
yeah,
Chicago Blackhawks, and you would have the actual symbol, and then it would just have the number of the player.
yeah,
So it was pretty good because you knew that what was Ronick? Ronick was 93, I think was his number.
for Chicago. Yeah,
Yeah, so you would have that, and Mario Lemieux had neither.
mm,
The coolest thing you had was that Mario Lemieux, who was a huge NHL star back during this time,
yeah.
you would have him on the cover, so that was cool. But
That was it.
very quickly, yeah, people
Yeah,
went to NHL because wow, now I can pick my favorite team and play my favorite players, right?
not just that. I almost bet you anything that it probably plays so much better. I mean, NHL hockey plays still to this day almost perfectly back then, right? The way they skated,
Yeah,
the checks, the slap shots, everything was so good about that game.
yeah, and especially when did they put in the one timer? 94, maybe.
94, that's when yeah, 94 was the first. That's why 94 is so great. That's the first year I
Yeah,
think that they introduced the players and the teams, and then they had the one timer. I mean, dude.
yeah, the one timer that was a game changer, and I
Yeah,
know that's a pretty rare thing in hockey. I think you don't see them all the time, but yeah, that changed it.
it was
When
so
we
much
used
fun to pull off. Yeah.
yeah, we used to do tournaments at our local microplay for it was for
Oh,
95,
cool.
but yeah, my buddy again, the same guy, he was just a master of NHL, man. I forget. I think he would have done wherever Gretzky was. So Gretzky would have been on the Kings, I think, back then.
Yep.
So he would have played the Kings. And I was all about Chris Chelios and Jeremy Roenick for the
Chicago.
Blackhawks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Mario Lemieux, not the Mario twin. Do you remember that old Flash cartoon back in the day, Mario Twins? Like this would have been probably like 2010s, maybe. We joke about it all the time.
Yeah. No, I've never seen it. Never heard of it. Hmm.
Little funny joke. Oh my god, look at all these games. This is a lot. This is a lot. What is that? The Trico Times. Even like a company as not as well known like
Mhm.
Trico had a little insert, man. We're getting mad advertising dollars here. Mad advertising dollars. Yeah, real knows. Okay, so there you go, P90. After this,
Yeah.
go on YouTube and just look up Mario Twins. It's like a one
Okay.
minute little cartoon. It's
Will
friggin'
do.
hilarious.
Breach.
Breach? I have no idea what this is.
Me
I have
neither.
no idea. Anybody know what breach is? Oh, is this the Trico insert still? I don't know. Task Force Harrier. Another shooter. War song. Yeah, this is the Trico. We can see it there. I don't know. If I'm skipping these shooters, guys, and you want to see them, we can go back. Oh, there you go. Matt wants War Song. Um, Langrisser's first English adaptation. Cool. Yeah, there you go. Like some great graphics here with these portraits. Reminds me of Fantasy Star a little bit.
Hmm.
Oh wait, this isn't a shooter. What is this? Uh, Began as a clear sunny day. Suddenly, the skies became. Warsong is an action strategy quest following the adventures of Lidin, son of Lizek. Cool. So it's like what? Tactics, I guess, right?
Yeah.
A tactic style game. Oh, this was huge. Quack shot.
Quack shot.
It was huge. Yeah. Are you a Disney fan?
Yeah, for sure.
So this and like Fantasia and Mickey Mouse Castle of Illusion, all by Sega, were just huge hits on the Genesis. I don't like Mickey Mouse or any of that stuff,
Yeah.
but I remember playing this because the graphics were just so great.
Yeah. Well, I played Castle of Illusion. That was a great game, man. That played well and looked pretty nice, and it was a fun game to play.
Yeah. Ghetto. Yeah, Matt. So it was a tactics game. Awesome. That's awesome. Pit Fighter. Oh, I hate this game. Hate it.
I think I've seen it. That game looks the animation and it just looks awful. I think if I recall, I remember seeing some of the footage of this game and it didn't look that great. Never played it personally though.
Yeah, it's an arcade game by Atari, and it was one of the first to use digitized graphics, which was great. That's the future of gaming after all the 90s, right?
Right.
But it just played so terribly. And I guess it was like Fight Club before Fight Club. It's like underground bar basement fights, right? That kind of thing. Ooh, AGC says I still got my SNES version of Rampart. Yeah, Pit Fighter's awful, Jacques. Especially the home versions are brutal. They're so bad. Here you go, buddy. Jacques, Streets of Rage. Stormlord, that's that controversial game we're talking about. There's that Sid of Valus. Coming soon. What are these? What is Caliber 50? I don't recognize that or Wardner. Strange. Caliber 50. Did this come out? Available Christmas 1991.
Man.
That's some pretty bad artwork right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty rough. Just saying. Task Force Harrier, Terminator. Jeez, this is all Genesis, all just crushing the competition. Road Rash, yeah, this is awesome. Awesome stuff. Game Gear. Did you ever have a Game Gear? Did you say you had a Game Gear?
I did not have one, but one of my ex-girlfriends had one, and yeah, I played it a few times. It was all right. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, I got mine back there. Was lucky enough to find it in the back room of the EB Games I was working at, and it was $5.
Wow.
So I picked that up. Yep. Pit Fighter, just another level of suck. Yeah. Rented Pit Fighter once. I was mad that I wasted my money on that rental. Starflight was great. Okay, here's something for everybody. Okay. What was a game that you rented? Like HGC said, a game that you rented that you were kind of stuck with all weekend that was like terrible. Do you have one like that? Chat and P90, do you guys have?
Oh, man, I'm trying to think. Oh, I think I have one. I think it was California Games on the NES. I think I rented it. I had it for the weekend.
Yeah.
And that's when like there was the surfing and dude trying to figure out how I don't even think the instruction manual was in it. So trying to figure out how to surf with it got super frustrating, the skateboarding and I think the store was closed on the weekend, so I couldn't even bring it back, right? Because I think you could bring it back and you have to pay $1 to rent another game. I think they had that option. It was actually called Computer Corner. It was a local computer store that rented NES games, funny enough. But yeah, that's the one that I remember. Yeah.
They carried the hot softs. Now, you remember back in the day when stores were closed on Sunday?
Yep.
All my friends in the States there, were you guys closed on Sundays as well, or was that a Canadian thing? Because P90 is just like, yeah, I rented it Friday or Saturday and I couldn't bring it back. So it would have been Sunday, the store would have been closed.
Exactly. Couldn't do nothing about it.
California Games was brilliant.
On the NES, really? I guess I didn't. I don't know. I didn't like it personally.
There
Maybe I'd
you
have to give
go.
it another chance.
I remember renting Excite
Oh
Bike.
my
I
god.
absolutely hating it. You know what? We've both fresh come off the Nintendo World Championships NES edition. I gotta say, I didn't hate it, but I will say there's definitely more rose tinted glasses for Excite Bike than there is actual good gameplay still. That's just me.
Yeah.
I don't think the game holds up that well.
No, it doesn't, man. I had that black box. My parents bought it for me. I don't remember how I got it. I don't think I've
Yeah.
asked for it. They just probably picked it up at the store and played it for a bit, and yeah, still doesn't hold good to this day.
I mean it's fun, but yeah. And I'll get to a few more of these here. Look at you guys. I love it. HGC says I mistakenly rented NES Hockey. Thought it was Blades of Steel. Couldn't remember the name. Super disappointed. Yeah, ice hockey is good. Again, we were playing it on my birthday stream when we just did the Switch variety stream. I was playing it. It's fun against two players if you're playing with a buddy, but against the computer, it's not that great.
Man, the
It's not-
computer's hard to beat at that game, even at level one, speed one. I mean, if you play at speed five, you're gonna get obliterated.
yeah,
Even for me, anyways, it was always frustrating to play against the computer in that game.
very very difficult. Yeah, Blades of
Yeah,
Steel was where it's at, where it was
yeah.
at for sure. Uh, we're closed on Sundays also in South Africa. Nice, Jock. Ghetto says worst rental of all time, Road Runner. Road Runner. Never played it, man. Mine was Codename Viper by Capcom, oddly enough, for the NES. It's basically if you played Rolling Thunder, it's very similar.
Yep.
Shinobi, same kind of game, right? I hated it. And I got excited because I saw it, and this is when Capcom got away from the old grid pattern that they used to have on NES games, and they adopted the purple.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, it's a Capcom game. Those guys are great. They make great games. And I remember
Bishu.
playing it. What's that?
Bishu, look on right there. There's the Bishu controllers.
Oh
Sorry
my
to
god!
interrupt.
Oh my god! Look at that. Bishu, Scorcher, the Striker, and the Gizmo. Good eye,
Gizmo.
dude. I
Look at the
almost was gonna pass this up.
look at the Gizmo. Wow.
Okay. All right, everyone, get your eBay apps out. Let's do this. I gotta look it up. I gotta look up the Bishu Genesis stuff here. So Bishu Scorcher. Let's see if there's anything. Nothing. Nothing.
Man.
So we got a vintage Zoomer controller for NES came up, and we got the
Oh my
Ultimate
god.
Arcade Stick. The Ultimate Arcade Stick's only like $50. Oh, there we go. We got a Bishu Striker for $21.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, we got a Striker on there, but I don't see any Scorcher or Gizmo on there. There's a couple Strikers.
Dude, pick that up.
One day, not yeah. Oh yeah. Ghetto says at Walmart they told my wife yesterday that all physical games are being pulled at the end of December. No more physical video games.
Oh no.
Well, there will always be physical video games. But what it's going to be, that's just what I think. I think it's going to be like what collector's editions are.
Yeah.
Places like maybe not Walmart, but places like Amazon, I would say will get Super Mario 20 whenever it comes out, right? And they'll probably get like 500 copies of it. And once they're gone kind of thing. Yeah, that sucks. Yep. But anyway, JT, if you're still here, buddy, there you go. There's your Bishu. We did. Good eye, P90.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, wait a second. Well, I just looked at the controllers and I'm like, wait a second. That has Bishu written all over it. It was Bishu.
Yeah, so it's just a third-party controller company. Look at all the greatness here, though. I would have loved any of this stuff. Like the bottom left, we have the Safe Care Stack Rack
Mm-hmm.
for the Genesis and Master games, and look at those Safe Care hot gloves.
My gosh. I mean, none of this stuff was probably you probably had to order it, right? I mean, I don't remember seeing any of this in like stores. Maybe I didn't look for them, but maybe Microplay carried some of this stuff. Who knows?
One sec here. I'm gonna go to. I'm just tabbing out. JT, I only have one monitor, so bear with me.
Jay,
Yeah.
just so you know, I'm gonna probably have to go out around 12:30 if that's okay. We
Oh,
have a
of course.
commitment.
Yeah,
So my
yeah.
wife just texted me. I think we're going to the mother-in-law's today. So yeah, it's an hour drive.
No, that is
Cool.
not a problem. Um, yeah, I don't see it, buddy.
Hmm.
Thank you for the super chat. It doesn't give me a number or anything, but I appreciate that, dude. That's weird. It didn't pop up. Yeah, we'll continue here. TJ, good evening, my friend. Yeah, it didn't pop up, and I went into a separate tab there, just on the stream, and I didn't see it either. It's weird. Ordering 8-bit to go. Okay, we're gonna not super skim over Master System, but we're gonna skim over Master System a little bit. Here's the
Oh, there we
Sonic
go.
comic for HGC. Here you go, buddy. No, that's all we need to know is no. And when did they change him from Eggman to Robotnik? When did that happen? It's weird. Sega does it all. Ooh, that's nice. I like that.
That is cool.
Next wave, so stuff coming out.
Hot soft news.
Daydreamin' Davy. That's a super rare one on Nintendo, and it's horrible but hilarious.
Never heard of it.
This kid falls asleep in school, and then he
Okay.
just dreams. He dreams
No
like
way.
of cowboys, and he dreams of like knights, and whatever
Oh
he
my-
dreams, that's the level you're on. It's
That's
hilarious.
hilarious. What a funny concept.
Neo Geo ad. Ooh, here's a rarity. Look, I remember
24-bit.
this one. The
Wow.
only 24-bit home arcade system, by the way, P90. Actually,
yeah.
so there you go.
You have to be rich to own one of these. Well, not rich,
Oh
but you
yeah,
know what I
this
mean.
makes
It was. I mean, the games weren't the games like $100 each or something. Like even more than that. Come,
$199, $299, depending on how many megs they were.
dude, for one game.
One game.
Holy.
Back then,
Yeah,
$199
exactly.
I think was the starting price. $199.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Wow.
Yeah, this like we say, you had to be on the richer side to have turbo and play turbo stuff. That's nothing
But
compared to Neo
This is
Geo.
another level, right?
Yeah, another level for sure.
School.
We got a Game Boy carrying case cartoon. Like that's just cool. That's just cool. Major motion.
That's neat.
There's Kadash for all you turbo fans out there. Home Alone. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Good stuff. Tricks. We skip through the tricks. Oh, here's our buddy David. This he knows all about the hot softs. This guy's a professional gamer, 100%. Mega Man to go. HGC with the $2 super chat. Sanic, Lord of Blast Processing. The killer of Mario, right? Wrong. Only teasing, buddy. Thank you for the $2 donation. Appreciate that, my friend. Very much. You the best. Man, yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was going to say a Star Wars thing, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. The EGM issues are definitely getting bigger. Definitely getting bigger. Star Wars and the Empire Super Preview. I don't think there was a Jedi. No, there was no Jedi on Nintendo.
Okay.
Hyperzone. Bill Lambier, speaking of sports celebrities, he's defenseman for the Pistons back in the day.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, he had his own like weird like space basketball game. Oh, here you go. You said that this was your hardest game.
Yeah, one of the hardest NES games for sure. They had a Game Boy rendition.
Can you imagine playing this on Game Boy, man? How difficult that would be?
I don't even think wouldn't even rent this. Screw that.
It would be
Tecmo
tough.
Bowl.
Tecmo
Wow.
Bowl, love it. Love Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah.
Did you notice? I don't know if you played this back in the day, but this the NES Tecmo Bowl is on this Switch,
Yeah.
but all the names are gone. The
Oh, I
names
never
are
paid
all
attention to that.
gone.
I'm not even sure if I opened it up on the Switch, but no, that's interesting. Wow. It must be
Yep.
a
So
licensing thing,
Montana,
obviously.
Rice, Bojack, all
Yeah.
gone.
All gone, eh? Wow.
Yep. Here's some Sanic maps for you, HGC. TJ, I'm glad your PC's all up and running. Streaming will be resuming this week. That's great news, buddy.
Good news, man.
Glad to hear it. Okay. I mean, we appreciate the maps, but we're just gonna pass over the Sonic maps. Bard's Tale. And here you go for anyone who wants to call EGM. I'm sure the number still works. You can use your cordless phone. Retro Mags, there you go.
There we go.
Just scooted through that last portion because we want to give P90 a chance to shout himself out here. So we'll give you that chance now, my friend. You can tell everyone in the chat where they can find you, what you got going on, all that kind of good stuff.
All good. Name's P90 Explorer. You could find me on YouTube. Lately, I've been playing a lot of retro games, giving myself some challenges, and I'm enjoying these. And apparently, people like it too. Like yesterday, I was playing Punch Out, didn't play that game in forever, and just trying to get to Mr. Dream, and that was a pain. So if you like retro games and challenges and like Contra, Ninja Gaiden, come and check me out if you want. We also play Rocket League once in a while, and so P90 Explorer on YouTube.
Good stuff. And I will be back to you guys on Wednesday. So Wednesday is going to be it's a tentative stream day. So Thursday through Sunday sticks. Wednesday, it'll depend on the week what I have to do video wise. So this week's a little bit lighter. So I'll be streaming Wednesday. And Saturday, Chad and I are coming at you with some Fortnite, but we're going to do a bunch of Grand Theft Auto this week. So really enjoying that. Really a lot of fun. Make sure you guys give P90 a sub if you haven't already. And check out his streams. We're out of here, guys. I will see you in a couple days. Thank you so much for the support, guys. It means the world to me. And we'll see you guys on the next stream. Cheers, my friends.